podcast is powered by Control. Control is a meal replacement and functional foods business whose mission is to improve the lifestyles of gamers and content creators by making them healthier. Their meal replacement shakes and meal on the go bars are the best tasting products in their category while also giving you all the protein, vitamins, minerals, and other nutrients you need to keep you going. Check out drinkcontrol.com and try out the sample kits to see what all the hype is about.
Hello, friends, and welcome to episode 157 of the XboxEra podcast. I'm your host, Sik and Nick, and I'm joined, as usual, by Special Nick.
What's going on?
And it's our distinct pleasure to have a man not seen, at least on this channel. He's seen every day on YouTube elsewhere, but at least on this channel, not seen since the mythical episode 67, Mr.BoomstickXL. Welcome back, my friend. Good to have
What's
you.
going on, guys? It is awesome to be here. I super appreciate the invite. Yeah, listen, things happen on YouTube. Episodes mysteriously disappear. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. You should have tuned in live to hear me all the way back then, but it's been 100 episodes since
almost 100 episodes.
Virtually, yeah.
Like, wow, and it's so great. It's so great. Listen, I've said it on the socials, but I'm here in front of you guys, and I got to tell you, I cannot say how proud I am of the work that you guys consistently do. Your growth on YouTube and on the social media aspect of gaming has been amazing, and it's great.
Thanks.
It's great to see the hard work get its flowers, so to speak.
Oh, man,
I do work really hard.
Appreciated.
I really do.
I think like
really hard.
If we were to divide it into quadrants of the three XboxEra staff members, like if it was a pie chart, it would be a Pac-Man with like Jesse being the Pac-Man, and then maybe like me, like a little pie where Pac-Man's mouth would be, and then Nick would be the tiniest little pill, like just in front of the Pac-Man.
But
like
where is OBM in this? That's what I want to know.
So the Pac-Man would be me, and then it would be the review crew of Genghis and Harmonica and Ursel, and then you get a little bit of Sick. And then you got the little tiniest sliver that's everyone else.
I just reviewed Sifu.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
you've cruxed upon, you've just walked into an awkward topic. No, I'm only kidding. Yeah, no, look, boom, we appreciate it. Like the growth and the support we get from the community is nuts. I mean, right back at you, it's got to be said. Like the fact that you do it 5 days a week, like blows my mind a little bit.
And it's solo too, which is listen, I love it, guys. I appreciate the compliments. That's very kind of you to say, John. I love it. I'm doing something that I love. I get to talk about video games, and people actually care enough to tune in, which is bonkers. It still blows my mind.
Man, it's funny because like there's been lots of conversation. Like there is a tipping point coming for us as a company, right? Where we want to stop juggling things with full-time jobs, and like I particularly, I really want to just be like pfft. And I learned this week that there might be some, you know what the tech industry's like. I might be on the guillotine at some point later on in May, and I'm like is this the push that would force the issue, if you know what I mean? And yeah, because there is, much like you, if I was not required to be plugged in and at my desk 9 to 5 on a day job, is there a competitor launching a Sik and Mechanico led news show, and then all of that sort of jazz. So it is one of those things. But the fact that you do it 5 days a week already blows my mind. But it's great when you do what you enjoy, right? And that's
it does, yeah, yeah. It did start out as you do videos like everybody does videos on YouTube, right? And no one gives a flying hoot nanny. My first video is up. It's awful. It's the worst. I would have unsubscribed if I watched it now. Honestly, it has no thumbnail because I didn't know how to make a thumbnail.
Is it still on the channel?
It's absolutely it's up there. It's literally the first show that I've ever done. It was I believe it was November 3rd of 2017. The gameplay was Wolfenstein. The sound is awful. There's no thumbnail because I didn't know what a thumbnail was. I was like, yeah, you too, let's do it. And I leave it up there for perspective. It's awful. It's terrible. But
Don't
again,
beat yourself up. We all start somewhere.
Yes.
You know, like Nick, you've recently gone through and timestamped every
episode.
podcast,
Unbelievable.
right? Which is how
That's
you
how I
discovered.
discovered. Yes, that's how I discovered that the Boom episode had just mysteriously disappeared because I was just going through them all one by one, and I'm like, "Where the hell is episode 67? Where is it?" Like everything else around the episode is there. The website article, the SoundCloud audio file. We may have to do something where we put together a video of the audio and like a picture of something or some kind of animation. I don't know. We'll have to do something because I don't know. We tried. Jesse and I tried for days with YouTube to get that episode back, and they're like,
I like you say we'll have to do something, but it just means me or pre-drag.
I don't know. I'll work something out. I don't know if I can. Like,
you can literally just take an image, put it up in your video software, and have the image run the length of the podcast, and then upload that as a video, and it works fine.
Yeah, that's what I was going to do, but I was hoping to do it in a way where you could even have it where it picks up the audio and it does it like the Discord with a circle. Does anyway? We'll talk about that later.
There are plugins for that, so that you can get audio waves and stuff.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. That's an idea. Doing that. But it's back. Episode 157. There's
either way, it's good to have you back.
It is good to have him back.
Thank you.
There's been a fair amount of drama again this week. What is it with video game nerd drama? Like, why is it a thing? There's been a lot, right? Like of late, and it's all been a dear friend of ours, Mr. Jeffrey Grubb, got himself in caused a bit of an uproar with just an offhand comment, as far as I could tell. Like, he wasn't intending that to be a thing, but he said it, and then the internet ran with it, right? It's caused a bit of uproar. So we'll talk about that a bit this week. But before we do, there's two things we need to clear up. Three things. The first being, we obviously need to check in with Nick, because Nick's health is important to the team. You know, we need to make sure he's eating well, he's looking after himself. Have you had your breakfast this morning, Nick?
I am having my breakfast. I'm very tired this morning.
You do sound
why
very
are
low
you tired,
energy,
Nick?
very low energy.
I was up till 1:30 last night. So for anyone who's watching who's in our Discord, you can go see the videos I posted in there. But we had this thing. My cousin is getting married next week, and we had this thing last night that in Greek is called the krevati. We just call it the krevati, which translates directly in English to bed. Krevati just means bed. And what happens is the bride and the groom, they make the marital bed, which in this day and age isn't a real thing, because most people, when they get married, don't have their own house yet. So you just do it at your parents' place, and you make the marital bed, and everyone just throws money on it.
Nice.
But they had a full-on party around it, which we also did back nearly 15 years ago too. You know, with a DJ and everything. And yes, we were up very late, which is why I sound the way I sound. So this very delicious control has very much come in handy this morning, because, I'm a little bit famished from last night. So yes, make sure that, if you're recovering as well from a late night out, this will get you going again. drinkcontrol.com/XboxEra. Use our code 10% off and get yourself some of this. And ask Gary Barwick. He loves the stuff. Well, he loves it. He can't get enough of the stuff.
I'm very much looking forward to the banana split later.
Banana split. May. Sold out banana split. They just released that flavor and it's sold out. So we have to wait for more to come in before we can get some more.
Fingers crossed that comes in soon for those that
nice
partake. The second thing that I wanted to check off was big welcome to the chat. We know that, and I want to briefly mention this. Our sincerest condolences to our dear friend Rand. for the loss of his best friend Shakespeare.
The dog.
Absolute gutting news, and it's never fun to lose a best friend. And and anyone with pets, especially dogs, they become such a huge part of your life. Like, I can't imagine how he's feeling right now. So big hugs for Rand. Hope he gets through it okay. And but hi chat. Welcome to the show. We hope you're having a great weekend. As always, if you love what we do here on XboxEra, you can support us directly by visiting patreon.com/XboxEra. And you get loads of cool stuff if you do. So it's probably worth a go at least. And the last thing I want to check on before we get into the news is, have you guys been playing any video games lately? And Boom, let's start with you. What have you been playing? What have you been enjoying on the?
Well, I purchased Xbox? Dead Island 2 because why
Jesse's
not?
excellent review.
Yes, based on Jesse's excellent review.
better than IGN, according to 98% of YouTube comments.
Yes, that is. Well, I like Jesse better than like IGN, and that's not even by a country mile, Jesse. I love you, brother. So yeah, you're better than IGN on any day and twice on Sunday, brother. So I haven't got to it yet, but I gotta tell you, folks, I keep talking about this game. My God, Ghostwire Tokyo, what a phenomenal experience! Like, I'm about to be done with chapter 3. I'm going around now trying to kill these giants. I'm going to tell you this: if you are someone like myself that likes a lot to do, and then like periodically,
sounds like a map game to me. Boom.
Yeah, it is very much a map game, and some of the side quests they're easy. Some of them are just go around the corner, fight a bunch of baddies, and come back and release the spirit. But there is one particular mission that I just finished. Guys, I got to tell you, it was the creepiest thing. I had goosebumps literally the entire mission from start to finish when this thing showed itself.
Were you in a school on that one?
Yes, sir. Yes, you are.
New. That was part of this update for this updated release.
Whoa.
Boy, is it good.
Listen, I got goosebumps now live on camera just thinking about it, because if you are a fan, folks, and I'm going to bring it all the way back, you are a fan of Condemned Criminal Origins.
Oh, okay. Hang on.
Love that movie. Love that game.
Okay?
I genuinely loved that game.
And if you remember the mission in the department store with the mannequins. This one mission had me creeped out so much, and when he got me, I didn't realize what I was doing, and I yelled. I couldn't believe it. And look, maybe J horror isn't your thing, and if it's not, then maybe this game is not going to appeal to you. My wife and I, besides being addicted to K dramas, we like J dramas as well, but we like J horror. And this game reminds me and has a lot of similarities to Ju-on, which of course, the Ring. There's another one that if you have never seen called Shudder, not the American version. If you ever want to see an unbelievable J horror, go look up the film Shudder. Amazing. It has a lot of similarities with this, with Japanese lore and horror. I'm 23 hours in. I cannot put it down. If like I said, there's so much coming out. Next week is Star Wars. I just bought Dead Island. There's a bunch of other stuff that's in my backlog, but I gotta tell you, my high recommendation for Ghostwire Tokyo.
That was very heartfelt. Like, I believed it. And it's funny, like you started saying Condemned, and I really enjoyed that game, and then you said the bit in the department store, and I was like, that was the bit. I was like, nope. Like, so much. Like, there was a bit, that level where I was like playing it, and I was like, okay, I'm through I'm in the upper floors. It's over now. I'm okay. And I'm in this like dingy bathroom, and I'm like low. I think it was like Painkillers was the health.
Yes.
game?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, oh, there's a bathroom cupboard, and it had like a mirror. And like, I open it and I close it, and I turn, and there's just one of the fucking like homeless dudes, and he's like here, and I was just, what the fuck? Just like, can't do it. No, me and horror, we don't jam, we don't work together.
Such a good game, Condemned. It was such
Oh my god, that's great.
Nope.
Yep.
No. But no, more power to you, Boom. I know that's been in the news a little bit as well this week with the fact that despite that it is Microsoft first party,
Bit of a head scratcher, John.
right? And they've had a year to port it over, that it runs. I mean, and keep me honest here, guys. I don't want to use the word significantly worse.
It's like 5 to 10% in some scenarios, certain modes. And I think the reason is it kind of bombed on PlayStation 5 and PC when it released last year. They've been working on HiFi Rush and this other rumored JRPG game. So the amount of, and they're not a big studio. So I imagine the amount of people who worked on this port were not nearly the amount that worked on the PlayStation 5 and PC version originally.
Yeah. Because
it actually doesn't run that great on either of those places either.
Yeah, I mean, I heard it was a bit rough around the edges when it originally launched, right? So stands to reason, but I know that I think people probably expected a little bit better from first party, and I get it, right? Because that's their job. It's their job to shine on.
Bethesda's console ports outside of id and machine games are normally very bad at performance.
Yeah, and it makes me look at Redfall and think, especially with
HiFi Rush, the first one.
I know,
phenomenal.
Impeccable,
Yep,
and that's where
on
I'm like,
Engine 4. Well, it's a different thing, because this
Very
is just a
different
late port compared to it's a late port compared to a big new release. And that's why I think there's probably a lot more going into Redfall's optimization and whatnot compared to they just probably didn't do that much with this port, which you wish they would. But if they're doing it all in studio, they're not big. They are hiring more, but they're not that big.
Okay.
That's fair. That's a fair comment. But yeah, so glad to hear it. Is that all you've been playing though? Ghostwire Tokyo, can't put it down.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I play Animal Crossing with the missus every day because I love Animal Crossing. I do. I play my Switch more than I play my PlayStation 5 for sure. In order, it's Xbox first, a Nintendo Switch second, which I just got Advance Wars 2. Absolutely amazing if you like that kind of stuff, and PlayStation 4 exclusives, which they have quite a few good ones. Yeah. Hopefully, we get Spider-Man by end of year in September, and I cannot wait for that.
Yeah, it's but you mentioned it in Ghostwire Tokyo, right? A bit of a game with lots to do. So we had this debate last week, but would you describe this as a map game?
I would say that it is a map game. It gives you look. I will say this: when you first start the game, it is very overwhelming. Some people might be tuned out immediately because they kind of feel like it might be too much thrown at them when you first start out. So it took me an hour or two in, maybe even 3 hours in, to finally understand what I was doing with the powers and how I was upgrading. But now that I'm full into it, like I said, I don't think that there is a game I could recommend more that you give a shot than Ghostwire Tokyo. What an amazing surprise. Like I said, I know it came out last year for PS5. It didn't sell very well on that or the PC. But listen, folks, you don't got to buy it. It's an Xbox Game Pass. Download it. If you don't like it, then just delete it. It is not that big of a deal, but I'm loving it. I actually quite enjoying it.
And it's 8 to 10 hours if you just do the main quest. It's not super long.
It's not long.
It has a lot of side stuff if you want that. It's an interesting story, I think. Yes.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think it's more. The story is more than your standard fare good guy versus bad guys. I think there's something to it. Again, like I said, if you appreciate J horror, if you appreciate that kind of that storytelling, I mean, I will tell you this: the lore that is on display is nothing short of phenomenal. It is unbelievable, the detail with the scrolls and the spells and just the environments are just phenomenal. And I hear something that you will never hear from anyone. The traversal in the game is bonkers. It is so freaking good. You could fly. There's a spell to get where you levitate across for a certain amount of time, and to get from floor to roof where there's a lot of stuff above you, it's crazy. It's crazy how good this game is.
And you're getting to play a version that has a lot more of those moves in it. Like if you played the original, this update added a bunch, like the perfect parries and other things that have added a lot to go back to it. It's been nice. We gave it I gave it an 8.1. I enjoyed it a lot.
Strong.
Okay.
John and John's always muting himself. My God, I'm so
hearing
disgusted.
a weird noise.
I muted myself because I was testing to see if I was the hiss.
It's loud in my house. That's what you're hearing.
It's Jesse.
It's Jesse's hissing.
You're hearing the sink in the kitchen.
Okay, cool.
Oh,
okay.
Anyway, what about you, Nick? Have you been playing anything?
Yes. So I'm currently playing a game for review, which I can't go into depth on. I can just say that I'm playing it, which is Strayed Lights. I'm not allowed to say basically anything beyond that. So I'm playing Strayed Lights.
What's the genre?
It's an adventure. I guess you'd call it an adventure game.
Okay.
Action-ish, RPG-ish. Yeah, put up on screen.
No, it's not RPG. It's just more.
It's an action game, really.
Yeah, it's just it's fairly standard. Again, I'm not allowed to say really give impressions.
You can comment on the footage I'm playing right now.
Okay. Yeah, I saw this.
It's got the outland mechanic. Yeah.
See how you switch colors between the blue and the orange? Do you guys remember the game by Housemarque called Outland, which released for Xbox 360 and PS3, I think?
Yeah.
And again, to beat certain enemies, you have to switch to the right color and blah, blah, blah. So it's got that mechanic. Visually, I mean, my favorite color is purple, so I don't mind the very singular color palette. But yeah, I'm not allowed to say how I feel about it yet. But
fair enough.
I mean, you can see from Jesse's footage there with the kind of game you're dealing with. You've got a skill tree there, which a lot of games have now. But yeah, I'm playing that for review, so hopefully I'll get my review done on time. I've got Tuesday off, which helps because it's Anzac Day here.
Always helpful to have a day off.
So that'll help get it done. I'll try and do as much of it as I can today. As you all know, I have a chronic illness where I don't actually finish games that I play. So you can understand why reviews are very difficult for me.
I saw someone checking in on your GoldenEye progress on Twitter.
Yes.
The other day.
I played more GoldenEye. I'm almost there.
Almost.
I'm almost there. I'm doing like 2 or 3 levels in a burst here. Because
Game of the Year still?
Yeah. Because my source still reached out to me and was like, have you finished GoldenEye yet? I really want to tell you this thing. I'm like, I haven't finished it yet. Like, all right. Well, I'm not telling you this thing till you finish GoldenEye. I'm like, oh, God.
Man, brutal. Brutal taskmaster.
I started playing this game. I spoke about this on Risk It for the Biscuits podcast yesterday. I'm playing this game called Cannon Dancer Osman. Now, I had never heard of this game before. Apparently, it's an old game. And it's a Strider ripoff. Like, it looks very much like Strider. And apparently, it's from one of the original creators of Strider, I think. And how do I describe this? This is a weird game. As in, just everything about this game. And I don't know how to describe it, but literally everything about this game is very weird. From the menu to the fact that it's 4x3 to the fact that I don't know. I don't know how anything works in this game, and it's just weird. I don't know how else to describe it. And the achievements are completely and utterly broken in a way I've never seen before. So when did achievements first come in? 2005. So it's been it's been 18 years since the 360. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I know, man. Makes you feel very old, doesn't
Oh
it?
my god, that's when my wife and I started dating in 2005.
Wow.
Like, oh my god. So the achievements are busted in this game in a way I've never seen before in 18 years of achievements being a thing. And they're not busted as in they don't unlock. They're busted as in the wrong achievements are just unlocking at random times. So this is one of those games. This is one of those games where there's an achievement for getting all the achievements, right?
Yeah.
I got that achievement third. It just unlocked out of nowhere while I was playing the game. Go and check my profile. I'm not lying. Go and check my profile. It's one of the first achievements I unlocked in this game, which is get all the achievements. I've already got it.
Oh my god.
I've got the achievement for reaching max level, which I only just started the game. It's just the only achievements in this game that work properly are the level completion ones. So each time I've completed a level, that achievement has popped at the right time and it's the right achievement. All the other achievements are just whatever. The game's like, whatever, just have them. Just take them. Like I'm just walking along and an achievement pops and it says, oh, you just did this thing. I'm like, I didn't do anything. I was just walking.
I didn't do shit.
I was just walking. It's just, they're the most broken achievements you have ever seen. It's incredible. So I'm going to keep playing that to see what unlocks next because you just never know. It's like a box of chocolates, this game. You just don't know what achievement you're going to get next. It's unbelievable. So I've been playing that as well as Straight Lights and my usuals, Rocket League, Fortnite. Man, this current season of Fortnite. Whew,
is it good?
Like, it is. I hate the Battle Pass. Like, the Battle Pass literally only has one great character that I actually want, but I just don't want to buy the Battle Pass for this one lizard, chameleon, whatever character. But the actual season itself and the theme and all the new moves, like it's now got grind rails in it. There's like this Japanese neon city in the middle of Fortnite, and there's grind rails all around it, and they've added that to the game. Like, oh man, it's funny. If someone could show you season 1, the start of Fortnite Battle Royale, and then show you clips from now, it would almost be an unrecognizable game, which I think is crazy and speaks volumes about what Epic has done with Fortnite and how they've evolved it. Like, I feel like Fortnite will be the blueprint and the shining example of games as a service for another decade, and how you do it and how you structure it and how you monetize it. And it's just, man, it's unbelievable.
I think what jumps off the page for me with Fortnite, and I'm not a Fortnite player, folks. Everybody knows that. I'm not a multiplayer guy. I've played Fortnite plenty of times. What I find so appealing about a game that I don't play is the collaboration of Zeitgeist IP.
Yeah.
It is like the metaverse game.
It is something that if you were to just sit back and take a look at some of the characters that are in here, I will say this: the best way that I can describe Fortnite personally is it is a celebration of everything that we know and love about gaming and comics and film and anime and toys and collectibles. It's stunning. It is just stunning that you can have in the same game Indiana Jones, Captain America, and Dragon Ball Z. It sounds like if you were to give a 5-year-old or a 7-year-old his toy or her toy box, and it would just be this giant plethora of incredible IP that are all in the same freaking game. It's bonkers.
It is. It's incredible. And the funny thing is, like, I would argue in many cases, Epic's models for these characters are probably better than the originals in the main games. Like,
Dude, God of War, Kratos, Master Chief.
Master Chief looks incredible in Fortnite.
Looks
Master
so
Chief's
good.
like great.
It's just, I don't know.
At this point, I just expect everything to come in. I'm still waiting on the Ninja Turtles, which I mentioned.
I'm actually surprised they're not there already, brother. I mean, they have a lot of new stuff coming out. You saw the claymation film that's coming out. So I would imagine that they're going to make their way there. Yeah.
I was told a while back that the Turtles are supposed to be coming in. So hopefully that happens soon, because I will buy those Turtles.
Was the Thundercats ever a part of that?
No.
Oh, man,
I'd love to see Thundercats coming there, man. Imagine a Lion-O or a Mumra. Oh, that would be so dope.
I've got to go find Lion-O.
You know what? The remake of that cartoon was pretty good too.
Yes.
Which one?
Did you see it?
Which one? Because there was the more grown up kind of Japanese anime-ish one. And then there was the Cartoon Network. Everyone bitched about the art style because it was more comedic.
The adult one, the more adult one that was closer to the original. That one. That was like surprisingly good.
It didn't last long though, sadly.
It didn't. But it was actually, I was wrapped. It was actually surprisingly good. I was watching that all the time. It was
better than poking the eye with a sharp stick.
I love the original.
I still think the original Thundercats holds up, man. Still holds up.
One of my wife's favorite cartoons growing up, Thundercats.
And the music is
and that theme song. Thundercats are on the move.
It's just awesome.
Thundercats are loose. Hear the run. Thundercats are loose. Ah, so good.
I want to see
the car that
Panthro's car.
Yeah.
Man.
Hey, yeah. That's right, YouTube. We're old, all right?
We're old. Listen, I'm the oldest guy in the room. There's no doubt about it. Nick is happy to be podcasting with me because
that's right. I'm finally not the oldest person here. Like, man, if you're young and you don't know what the hell we're talking about, jump on YouTube and do yourself a favor.
You missed out on life. I'm going to tell you that right now. You've just missed out.
Man, the Thundercats movie. Do you remember that? The movie?
Yes.
I think so.
And I had the little teddy bear robot things, and you had, and it was like, Mumra was like winning, and he had him fighting off against the ninja guy. So you had Lino fighting off against, I can't remember his name. He was like a ninja dude.
Panthro? No.
No. It wasn't like fighting against the cats, but they were fighting against, like, there was some guy who was going to try and take out Lino, but then he like was too honorable or something. I don't know, but it was awesome. It was an awesome little movie. And it did all the destruction.
I don't remember that.
Thundera and all of that. It was really good, man. It's worth a watch. It's just as good as the OG cartoon as well.
Really?
Anyway, I've not been playing too much. I've been playing a little bit of Dead Island 2, which is really, man, it's like click and you just turn your brain off. And it knows exactly what it is. And it is not afraid of what it is. And and it's a very competently made, surprisingly performant game. And
9 years later.
Most people, these games come out of dev hell, and they're
not great.
Barely able, barely competent. And you're like,
from what I found out, this game was completely scrapped and rebooted 3 years ago. So they made all of this in 3 years.
Oh wow!
Whoa!
Yeah.
Interesting.
Wow.
So they might have, who knows if they used textures or thought or like blocking out areas or anything like that. But as far as the actual engine, gameplay, everything was the last 3 years.
Wow.
When the leg comes up and it's just like meh, 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 when you're kicking, it's ridiculous. It just looks so dumb. But it's dumb fun. And I've been doing a lot of Forge as well. Still. Don't know why. For that. They get dead game Halo Infinite. Still been making levels and things. Can't help myself, clearly.
Very dead.
Very dead, apparently. But yeah, that's about it for me. So that's about all of our gaming for the week. What about you in the chat? Anyone in the chat been playing anything new? I'm just having a look. Lots of love for Thundercats, though, which is always nice to see.
I can't say anything.
So good.
Yeah, we can't.
I don't get to say what I've been playing. But yes, next week has a lot of games coming out, and we have a lot of reviews coming out. So
yeah. I'm going to be tackling
straight lights.
Hopefully, I'm going to be tackling a certain new.
We haven't said we can't say it yet. We're
I've
hoping
not
to
agreed to
review Ben
yet.
Fox.
You know what comes out on the 27th? Ben Fox.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're hoping to review that one.
Yes, we are.
Yeah,
we're hoping for Star Wars.
Definitely going to go for the 1,000 in Ben Fox.
Yeah,
Can't
you're gonna,
wink, wink.
Definitely going to go for the 1,000 on Ben
You're
Fox.
really looking forward to seeing the.
Wait.
I'm not going to ruin it.
You've said it before on here, Nick. You've literally talked about them trying to get them to do it.
No, I haven't. Not on here.
No, there's going to be a character named Nick, and you have to kill him.
Yes.
Yeah. Could you imagine?
I'd love it.
But yeah, very much looking forward to Ben Fox.
A lot of stuff next week. We are working. Ursel is working on Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. Genghis is working on After Image and another thing. I've got at least one coming. Waiting on Redfall. Don't have that one yet, sadly. John should be doing Ben Fox if we're lucky enough to get a code. And yeah, there's just a bunch coming. The next 2 months. The next 2.5 months. It's already been crazy. Yeah. It's just getting even crazier.
It's going to be crazy. There's two things I wanted to ask, and I'm going to, whilst we're working on the show, see if Jesse can put it up. Because I want to ask the chat. I want to ask people watching about this, because we've been, and Jesse, what I'm talking about is Pre-Drag's passion project. I just want to get a beat. I want to get a beat from the community on it. So it's something Pre-Drag has just been doing in the background, and there's been some discussion about it, and I just wanted to see how the community felt if we were.
I'm going to start pulling up pictures.
Yeah, so but don't worry, it's nothing scary. It's nothing scary.
No, I'm saying, have this been mentioned in the other Discord?
Nope. We're in a private chat.
I was about to say, because I've actually been going in there lately and I haven't seen anything.
He's mentioned
this has never been
way back.
Really? Yeah.
Way back. He's shown off some things, but nothing like super detailed. But I want to show the YouTube folks and our community and see what they think and see if there's interest, because it's a lot of stress to do it. But also want to show off how cool Pre-Drag is. But before I do that, hey, the 250 odd people watching right now, why don't you press the like button, because it really helps us out. Just, a thumb press, boop, or a little move your mouse and just click it. It's effortless. It helps us out. It pleases the algorithm gods. How does Boom ask for likes? How do you ask Boom if this was your show?
I will say this. I usually maybe in the second topic, when I start to see the people pile in, I'm like, hey folks, if you're just finding the channel for the first time, please consider subscribing. But more importantly, please hit the like button if you're enjoying the conversation. And sometimes that works. Sometimes other panels, some people in the chat actually say that, which is awesome.
Always good to see people in the chat encouraging others.
It is the weirdest thing, guys. Like it almost, I kind of sometimes feel that when someone is enjoying themselves and they're watching the content, which ultimately is for free, right? Like we're here dedicating our time to these shows because we love the industry and we love gaming. And it almost seems like they feel like they're submitting. You know what I'm saying? When they hit the like button, like I don't know if I want to do that. It's taboo. Folks, it doesn't cost anything to hit the like button. When again, if you appreciate the work, and maybe that's what it is. Some people don't understand how much work goes into a 2-hour podcast, the lead up, the afterwards, but in the between. And maybe they don't understand that, but it is one of the things that I think a lot of YouTubers struggle with. That, you know what I'm saying? Like you get a show.
It's a grind, man. It is.
You get a show like my shows they're averaging like 5,000 views. It's not a lot. It's 5,000 views is great. And you look at
every day, 5 days a week, bro. It's good. It's good stuff.
You do, yeah. I mean, the average for I mean, we have broken through 4 million views, which is crazy.
Wow, that's amazing.
And it's when you look at the views, like say for instance, one of my more popular shows, they hit 10Ks, which is it's ridiculous how many they hit, and you have like 800 views, and I'm like, what happened to the 8,200 other people? You didn't enjoy yourself? What happened? So it's not. I actually don't think it's a personal thing. I think a lot of people actually just forget. But there are a subset of people that are like, yeah, I'm not giving you a like, fella. You know what I'm saying? I'm just not gonna do it, and that's okay. That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah. Don't forget, those likes is what governs what your YouTube algorithm is going to show you.
That is correct.
Which I discovered the hard way. For me to stop having all those Victoria's Secrets YouTube videos coming up, I had to remember to stop liking them when I watch them. And now my algorithm's much cleaner. I kept wondering why all these videos kept getting suggested to me of Victoria's Secret models doing catwalk runway stuff. And I was like, why do these videos keep coming up? I was like, oh, yeah.
I kept watching them.
I should probably stop liking those videos.
Fucking hell, dude.
I've got them all pulled up, John. I got a bunch.
Nice one. All right, let's ask the chat. Let's ask the chat. So, folks watching, right now, or actually 2 years ago, we launched a Kickstarter. We launched a Kickstarter for a book celebrating 20 years of Xbox. Yes. It's being printed right now. If you haven't seen the video on the YouTube channel of the print in progress, it's physically being made by a really, really amazing team of folks local to me here in the UK.
Nice.
Who put together, like, I candidly was like, hey, if you get the chance for our backers, could you film some footage? And they put together this like 3-minute, amazingly filmed, like just on an iPhone, but just lots of effort put in, and just sent it to us. And they're going to keep sending us little clips as the process comes to a close.
Pretty cool, man.
It's super cool, right? But it was a lot of effort. And obviously I went through personally a super rough year, which delayed everything in 2021. My bad.
Things happen,
but we're here. We got to the other side of it. But pre-drag loves physical media. He loves print, and we've obviously got our Game Pass tool day one, where you can track and monitor what games are coming out, what you play. You can read reviews. You can find discussion threads on the forum, and we obviously operate and run XboxEra.com, where all of the team produce review content, opinion pieces, all sorts of bits and pieces every quarter, right? And Pre-Drag's idea was, what if we put together a day one Game Pass collectible, high-quality, glossy magazine, right? So he's produced well, quite a lot of it, to be honest with you. And we're just like, we're not going to launch anything anytime soon. But this would be, if we were to do it, obviously we'd need to find out if there's an appetite and an audience for it. What he's put together, some of the concepts of taking our work that's in digital form and turning it into physical, really super pretty media is incredible. And it would be like the gaming magazines of old, but just much higher quality. And we'd look to do one every quarter. And that's kind of where we're at. We're kind of like, we're pondering, but it's Kickstarter. It's a lot of effort. It's less because it's just a magazine and we're already producing the content.
No, there's no space.
But yeah, I just wanted to see, what do people think?
I will tell you this, John. Shut up and take my money. That's what I'll tell you. Shut up and take my money. Take it. I'm signing up day one.
So this is the thing we want to see if we can do, right? And it's all of our reviews, all of our content, with all of the key art, like not done to sell advertising, but done for passion and love of games. So it's something that we are thinking about doing. And you can see some of Pre-Drag's amazing artwork. It looks really good. So, I'll put a thread up in the forums. We'll mention it in the Discord. See if it's something that folks want to do. Even if it's something, again, we could offer to our patrons as a digital magazine every 3 months, right? For some of our higher tiers. Boom, you get a free copy of it. and all of that jazz. But it just again shows Pre-Drag is just in a class of his own at what he can do. And
you know what's amazing when you start talking about print? Like I'm the oldest guy in the room, pretty much in any podcast that I'm on, and any of my own. There's nobody that's older than me. It's fine. Listen, I'll say this: I wear it like a badge of honor, and I've said this before, John. I'm so proud and unbelievably grateful and honored that I got a chance to see this industry go from sticks and dots to what we have now. Not many people who can say that are actually in gaming now. There are quite a few of us elders, if you will. But I am so thrilled to be able to say that my life was changed when my dad, a blue collar dude, came home with the Atari 2600 in 1978 and said, guys, you've been playing this in your cousin's house, and a few of his friends' kids had it. And, we weren't rich, we weren't poor, but we weren't even middle class. And for my dad to do that, wow. I mean, wow. And he sat there and he hooked it up with the little RF switch. You had to do the screws in the back of the TV, and he played with us, and the lights were out, and the sheet was over our heads, and we were playing. It's magic. But growing up, I'll never forget, John, my brother Neo Mental and I used to run to our local Optimo, which was like a cigar store, like a stationery store that sold everything, but it sold gaming magazines. And we used to buy two. He would buy one, I would buy one, we would read it and then trade. It's some of the greatest magazines that a lot of people don't even never heard of. Die Hard Game Fan, amazing print. Gamers Republic, amazing thick, glossy print. If it's anything like those, whoever this gentleman you're talking about, I need to give him the golf clap, because I'm still old. I like print media. I really do. I like holding the magazine in the hands, folks. I'm sorry. Again, I'm old.
Pre-Drag's our art lead, and has been since the early days, and he is incredible at what he does. Right.
If John says I'm Pac-Man, I'm half, and Pre-Drag's like 60% of that, really.
Yeah, you forgot Pre-Drag before, didn't you?
Yeah, Pre-Drag.
In your rush to take all the credit for everything, you forgot about Pre-Drag.
I didn't say I was Pac-Man. John said that. I then threw credit over to the review
I was
crew.
talking about production content. But yeah, anyway, so there you go, chat. I'm glad. It certainly looks like, reading the chat through, it looks like they like the look of it. We'll see.
Dude, that is
we just wanted to fish it.
So good.
It looks cool.
Oh my God. Yeah.
The HiFi Rush stuff at the end is just gorgeous.
Yeah, the HiFi Rush stuff. It's just it's like candy, isn't it? Like
it helps when the game itself has an art style so like that, doesn't it? It helps.
Yeah, super cool. But yeah, okay. There you go. Little tease, little interesting query. But it looks like chat likes the sound of it. So
yes,
glad to see it. There is a super chat, Nick. I'm not sure if you saw it, from John Ranger.
Yes, John Ranger. A 35
Czar. What is Czar?
I don't know what that is.
I'm Googling it. All right. I need to know.
35 Czar super chat. Was
Where are you,
Street
Czar?
Sharks
South
or
African
Biker
Rand. South African Rand.
Was Street Sharks or Biker Mice from Mars ever in the mix? I remember those cartoons.
I remember those as well. Yeah.
I wasn't into them, but because they were actually, when I was a bit older, Street Sharks and Biker Mice from Mars, they weren't there for my childhood per se. I was still very much He-Man, Transformers, Voltron.
Silverhawks. You remember them?
Oh, Silverhawks.
So good.
Yes. Oh, God, that was good.
Silverhawks passed me by, lads, but I can hit you up with Bucky O'Hare.
Yes.
All right. Anybody? Anybody? Don't leave me hang. Anyone?
Yeah, I give you the high five for that. Bucky O'Hare was
Silverhawks. Silverhawks was legit. It wasn't very big, Silverhawks, but I used to love watching that. Silverhawks was kind of like Thundercats, but like...
Yes. They had like metal suits and they flew.
Yeah, the metal suits with the wings and
so good.
Man,
oh my God.
But very similar to Thundercats, like almost character for character. Like it was
Oh,
like,
really?
oh, okay, well, these guys are
How
the
about
cats. We're
Mask?
going to be the birds.
Remember Mask?
Oh, dun 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 dun, mask. I used to have the car.
Mask.
I used to have the red
Oh my
car.
God.
I loved that thing so much. You tell me you've seen Mask, Nick.
No.
Oh, man, they
my
were like
Mask.
there was like really
transforming
rich dudes.
vehicles.
Yeah.
Oh my God, no, I've never seen this.
Dude, Mask was the nuts.
Oh, it was so good.
What?
So good. Yeah.
I've never
I'm
heard
so
of it.
old. And I'm such
I was
a
watching
nerd.
Voltron. I was watching Voltron. Like, I used to love Voltron to death. I was
Yeah. Classic.
like, Voltron was the greatest thing ever for me at the
I'm
time.
gonna have to dig out Mask now. I need to rewatch it.
And Transformers was great. And man, we were blessed with very good cartoons.
Yeah, the cartoons today,
Um,
like there's
they're
some
terrible.
really
There's still some good stuff today. I have to admit, there's some good stuff today.
I really
like-
like Bluey. Obviously, Bluey's the best
Bluey's
show on television.
Bluey's
like,
just
hands down.
incredible.
But like, my kids watch Loud House on Netflix. They like that quite a lot. That's quite good fun. It's about one kid with 11 sisters, one boy with 11 sisters.
Oh wow.
Carnage.
My kids love Teen Titans.
It's not what my kids have.
They're big fans
me
of
into
Teen
yet.
Titans. But yeah, let's not go off on another one of those tangents.
Yeah, we'll be here all day. Let's talk about the news. Let's talk about the
Yes.
news. Hey,
Yes.
hey, not Ben and Holly's Little Kingdom. Let's talk about the news.
Yeah.
Lots of ongoings. The news guys have been very, very generous in the last couple of weeks for sure, John.
Man.
Well-
Every week I think is going to be the week where there's nothing to talk about, and then stuff just appears right
Yeah.
towards the end of the week.
You know what next week is, right?
Mm.
It's
Uh,
CMA decision time.
It is.
people.
It is. Yeah.
And this isn't in the list, so maybe we'll talk about it when we talk about Lina Khan. But yeah,
We're talking about Lina Khan getting absolutely grilled.
we'll talk about that. But the first thing we wanted to talk about was a couple of weeks back, we had the legendary Cliffy B on the show.
Mm.
Yeah.
And Nick, you asked him a question. You were quite open about it. You know, like, why didn't you release it on Xbox, man? And he was quite open in his response.
Yeah. Like
And-
I mean, I said to him, I'm like, dude, you're associated with Xbox whether you like it or not. Like, I understand you may not like it, but you're associated with Xbox because of Gears. That's the impact
Yeah.
Gears had. And I told him I feel Lawbreakers should have come out on Xbox, and it should have.
Yeah.
And then he put out a tweet the other day saying, "Oh, I just got a text from a lawyer about Lawbreakers. Stay tuned." It's sounding like there's a chance of a revival for Lawbreakers, from what I can tell from Cliffy's tweets.
It's definitely intriguing. Like he
I
pinged
played
the-
Lawbreakers. I quite enjoyed it. I thought it was fantastic. Just not enough players.
He pinged
Well,
the
that's
CEO
what
of
happens when you
Nexon.
launch on a console not really known for its shooters. Like,
Yeah.
that's the mistake they made. All they saw was, oh, PS4's got the higher install base. Let's
Mhm.
release there. It's like, nah, bro. Like, Xbox is the shooter box. Cliffy B is synonymous with Xbox. You launch your shooter on Xbox. Like, the Xbox fan base loves nothing more than an exclusive shooter. Look how well Titanfall did. Like, that's what Xbox players play.
Titanfall 1 sold over 10 million copies, folks. If you didn't know.
Did it?
Yeah, 10 million, over 10 million. I'll Google it and I'll get you the exact numbers.
Why do I have the number 7 million in my head?
Which game? Sorry, so
Titanfall.
did it 10 million? Wow.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I
so
can't
like,
remember,
that-
like-
and it's worth saying it's not definitive. Like, we're not saying Lawbreakers are coming out, but Cliffy started posting some fairly like intriguing tweets, and we're all a bit like, oh.
I have an
wonder."
IGN article in front of me, gentlemen. Sorry to interrupt.
please.
Titanfall
Interrupt
sales
away.
past 10 million, 10 million globally, according to IGN. The article was from October 5th of 2015.
Wow,
Okay.
good for them. It came out on PC as well, though, right?
Did it?
PC 360 and Xbox One.
It's a 360 version. Wow, I forgot about that. Holy
I mean, the
moly.
360 version came
That was
later.
Nix's, wasn't it? Nix's did the 360.
No,
version.
Blue Point.
Oh, was it Blue
Blue
Point?
Point.
Oh,
Wow,
well, I knew it was
yes.
a Sony owned studio.
Blue Point.
of them
did
are.
Titanfall
Yeah.
on 360. And then apparently Titanfall 2 only did like 4 or 5 million.
It was just destroyed because marketing is just dumb. You don't launch that in between Battlefield and Call of Duty. It's just
install
dumb.
base ain't everything.
Yep.
Install base ain't everything. Anyway, before we go off on another tangent, hopefully Cliffy's lawyer or whatever, whoever was to text him, hopefully they find a way to bring Lawbreakers back. Because if it does somehow come back and end up on Xbox, I'll give it a run.
I would. You know what I'd love to see, guys? I like Cliffy B. I really do like that dude.
He's great.
He is as real as they are. Like, he wears who he is on his sleeve. And if you don't like it, well, you just don't like it. But I love it. I love it. I think the guy is aces. Saw the interview here. Amazing. What I would love to see for Cliffy B. First of all, I've been in the camp for years, guys, that I think Cliffy B should come back and collaborate with Xbox. I really do. I don't know if he would. I don't know if Xbox would. I don't know where the misdirect is there, but you know what I'd love to see for him, and specifically Lawbreakers, to keep it in the conversation, is for that game to launch exclusively on Xbox, into Xbox Game Pass. And maybe he can even make it into a free-to-play thing. I'd love to see him get a bag of money. I'd love to see that game come to the platform. But I would love to see... who doesn't like a comeback story, folks? Yeah. Who does not like the kid that made Gears, went off to do his own thing, the game got destroyed, it didn't get reviewed very well, PlayStation players spit in the face of this game because we know that they're not first-person shooters, and then all of these years later, it launches to take full advantage of the Xbox Series X, and it's a hit. Could you imagine that story? I love it. I love it.
Yeah, it would be great to see.
If they can get it to a decent port studio, and if Cliffy's still got the source code somewhere, I can't remember who the publisher is that owns
Nexon
Lawbreakers now. Is this Nexon?
I think so. Yeah, he pinged the CEO of Nexon, I think, the other day.
Yeah, if they've still got the source code and they can get it to a good port studio, although Sony's taken a couple of those now, but if they can get it to a good port studio, you never know. Be interesting.
You never know, right?
Yeah, never know.
Anything's possible.
One of the smaller topics, we'll get a couple of the smaller ones out of the way quickly. I put this one in selfishly. The Republic of Gamers, the Ally, that amazing Windows 11 handheld PC, is releasing worldwide, they said on Twitter. So wow. Here we go. Australia is going to get some love now, since Gabe is a bit of a stingy bastard that doesn't want to release the Steam Deck down here. He wants to give away... He's got enough stock to give away a Steam Deck a minute on a 4-hour awards show, but doesn't have enough stock to sell some to actually make some money in Australia. Like, what are you doing, dude? Like, seriously. So hopefully Australia supports AMD. ASUS. Yeah. ASUS.
Is it ASUS?
Mm-hmm. Asus,
yeah,
Asus, whatever.
Oh, I say Asus.
I say Asus as well, but Asus also makes sense. Hopefully Australia supports Asus when the Ally comes, because the rumored specs on that thing are pretty incredible too.
Yeah.
Runs Windows 11. Like, I'm very much looking forward to this.
I sent their PR a request for a review unit. Haven't heard back
yet.
They
told you to cram it.
They haven't said anything.
They tell you to cram it with walnuts.
Wow. Yikes. Is there price attached to this thing?
Not yet.
Rumor is $650 US. Rumor.
Wow.
Yeah. I was about to say the rumor was Steam Deck like pricing or something. How much is the Steam Deck in the US?
Varies between like low 500s to high 600s, depending on the amount
of
memory
you
get in there.
So it does look like it's going to be Steam Deck adjacent pricing. I'm I'm okay with that. If I can get this thing for under $1,500 Australian, I reckon I'll jump in.
Yeah, you won't spend any money to actually buy games.
I know. I don't
Unless
care
it's
about
Zelda.
games.
Oh, you spend a
Well,
lot.
I mean,
Zelda.
if it
Unless
runs
it's
Windows
Zelda.
11, you can download Game Pass to it. I would imagine.
That's right. I can play
Oh.
Fortnite
I'm
and
teasing
Rocket League.
Nick about him constantly begging people to buy him games.
Yeah, it's kind of
Yes.
cringy at this point. Like we're all struggling with it.
I
He
did
won't
not realize. I crunched the numbers on this. I actually didn't notice it until I sat back and thought about it, and I'm like, I've just spent $950 on Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and I didn't
Why?
even realize it. Well, I've ordered the OLED Switch.
Yes, so did I.
That's $550. I
Uh-huh.
ordered the Pro controller, which I got VIP price. That's $83. I then gave in and ordered the collector's edition for $188.
Oh, dude, I can't believe you found it. I missed the collection.
Yeah. Amazon still has some in Australia. I then ordered the Amiibo. It's another $21. I ordered a Skull and Co. special grip case thing. I bought an USD card for my new Switch that's coming. I was just like, man, it's $1,000. It's like, holy crap. It's a lot of money. But yeah, if
crazy.
someone could buy me Resident Evil 4, that'd be great.
You have
'Cause
access to it.
I'm short of money now. I just
You
spent all my
have
money on
whatever
Zelda.
Mike
No
has
one
finished
buy
his
Nick
thing.
anything ever.
Yeah.
Mike
I
finished
have
his
to-
video. You can play Resident Evil 4 whenever you want. His
Yeah, I
video's
know.
done.
I have been playing it. I have to finish it.
I'm on my second run through, and I'm trying to get the unlimited rocket launcher. Very hard.
Where does everyone find the time to finish all these games? I don't understand.
They're not playing Rocket League and Fortnite 10 hours a day.
I mean, that's a good way to start, Jesse. Good call.
I keep seeing all these people. They're like, "Oh, I'm on my 17th run of
They
Resident
get
Evil
very
4."
short.
I'm like, I haven't beaten Resident Evil 4 once yet.
The first run is by far the longest, and then you unlock unlimited ammo and all these other things, and it's very fast.
Oh man, I want that unlimited ammo so bad. I paid for that on Resident Evil 2 remake, and man, it's so good.
I'm this is taboo, folks. Please don't hate me and boo me. I would pay for unlimited ammo. I mean, I really would. I'm sorry. I know that's a crummy, crappy thing to say, but
I'd pay for invincibility mode too.
I wouldn't want to be invincible. I still want fear.
Yeah,
I want to be
God
feared
mode and
of
unlimited
dying.
ammo, mate. Take my MTX money.
I'm 8 hours into the second run. I have not saved it once. I am trying to build up. I'm at 1.2 million. You need 2 million to buy the unlimited rocket launcher. I might sell every weapon once I have enough money to get the unlimited rocket launcher, and then I'll do a third run through it with the unlimited rocket launcher.
I've got the unlimited rocket launcher in Resident Evil 2. Oh man,
it's amazing. Yeah, so do I. It's amazing.
It's so good. Like, Mr. X comes and you're just like,
whatever,
stick it, and you're just like, bang, rocket him. And it's like, piss off, dude. I'm not scared of you. Oh, it's amazing. Don't underestimate what God modes and unlimited ammos can do for video games. They just make them so incredibly fun. What else? That was a tangent from the ROG Ally all the way to Resident Evil somehow.
That's
it's
just how you
a
roll,
conversation
bro.
podcast, guys.
That's
this is what you do.
That's
Right?
how you roll.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we went from Lawbreakers to that somehow.
Yeah.
I love
but
it.
there you go. But the biggest news, I think, of the week, because you kind of covered off the ROG Ally, and this was the biggest drama. The biggest drama of the week is HiFi Rush is a Schrodinger's game. It's simultaneously successful and unsuccessful. It exists in both states. In some places, it's really good and really successful. In others, it's absolutely shocking and terrible, and Microsoft are very unhappy with it.
Jeff,
is true.
Jeff, remember how isn't it funny? Something I've always said on this podcast, and more and more people are discovering how true it is. Remember how I said there are certain voices that carry weight in the community?
Yep.
And you learn the hard way sometimes how much weight your voice carries. Now, we all know Jeff. We all love Jeff.
Yes.
Jeff's one of the boys. Yeah, absolutely.
Jeff just talks on Last of the Nintendogs and Game Miss Decides and like I do, and I sometimes don't realize what I'm saying. Jeff just talks and he's got sources like I've got sources, and one of his sources must have sort of in passing said, "Oh, I'm hearing that Hi-Fi Rush." Like, again, I'm basing this on how I know I get my info. He must have just got a DM on Discord or Twitter or something from one of his people at Microsoft. Probably said something like, "Oh, I'm hearing along the grapevine at work that Hi-Fi Rush probably didn't make as much money as they thought it was going to make." That's probably it. That doesn't mean it performed like crap. That doesn't mean it wasn't successful. That doesn't mean anything. It could have just been a passing comment like that.
Yep.
And then Jeff brought up that passing comment as another passing comment. Hey, I'm hearing Hi-Fi Rush, probably didn't make as much money as it should.
It was in reference to Mike Minotti's point originally about how he doesn't think the shadow drop helped the game.
Oh, right. Okay. I personally disagree. We said this. We thought it was a brilliant strategy because in the world that Xbox operates within, in the video game space, we all know that if you show off a game like Hi-Fi Rush in advance, you give the internet trolls and everything a chance to go, "Oh, this is cartoony garbage. Oh, Xbox sucks. Look at the sort of games they're giving you on Lane Pass." So by shadow dropping Hi-Fi Rush, you don't give the dickheads a chance to get ahead of it.
Be
That's the
dickheads.
beauty of it. Well, they are.
Yeah.
You don't give them a chance. You take that weapon away from them by shadow dropping Hi-Fi Rush. Now, the part I found interesting is that this story blew up in quite a way.
The media loved it, didn't they? They were so happy to report.
Oh my god, did they go all in on that? And I found it I found it odd personally because I'd be surprised just again because Game Pass exists and because Microsoft wants pretty much everyone on Game Pass. I'd be kind of surprised if Microsoft cared that much about unit sales.
Yeah,
of their games.
It seems really weird to me that would even be a concern.
A metric.
Yeah.
Like they want you on Game Pass. Like I don't think Microsoft is silly enough to think you're going to sub to Game Pass and then buy a game day one as well. I don't know if anyone with any kind of intelligence would expect something like that in business. I know what I do. I sub to Game Pass and play the game day one if I can be bothered. And then if I like the game, I'll buy it on sale later.
Yeah, or you take advantage of your Game Pass discount and you get
it
when convenient to you before it leaves the service. Yeah.
I did that with Crackdown. I did that with Devil May Cry. I did that with a whole bunch of Game Pass games. I ended up buying them later on sale. So because I also like to own my games, like a lot of people do. So after all this blew up and Hi-Fi Rush sucked and Hi-Fi Rush was the worst game ever and Microsoft's going out of business because
they're exiting the console industry.
Yeah, they're exiting the
They're going to be sold
industry.
to Apple, right? Because Apple's going to buy it.
No, they're going to be sold to Sony. Sony's going to buy Xbox. So we went from Redfall being 30 to Hi-Fi Rush being the worst game of the year to Xbox going out of business all in the space of a week. I just came back from the doctors for my whiplash. Aaron Greenberg had to come out and reiterate. Where's his tweet? Hi-Fi Rush was a breakout hit for us and our players in all key measurements and expectations. We couldn't be happier with what the team at Tango Gameworks delivered with this surprise release. Now, of course, a lot of the talking heads and especially a lot of the pseudo-intellectuals at Resetera were like, oh, well, Aaron Greenberg's clearly lying. Like, he's clearly lying.
Or Aaron.
But what people don't understand is they said this back when it launched.
Yes.
They were like, HiFi Rush is one of the most successful launches for Xbox and Bethesda ever.
Ever.
And I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's good news.
That's
you know,
pretty cut and dry.
yeah, I don't understand what everyone's going on about. Like, it's anyway. Yeah. So I suspect again. I base this. This is purely speculation based on how I know I get my info. My guess is that it was probably just a DM from a source of Jeff's at Microsoft, who was like, "Oh, it's probably just didn't make quite as much money though as they were hoping for."
Yeah,
but without knowing what that hope was, you've got to be careful with what you say because, as we've discovered, look what can happen.
Well,
HiFi Rush is a great game.
What happens is what happens with you all the time when we have to tell you to stop is you mix reporting and speculation because it's just a natural conversation with friends. And you're just talking and you say, well, I've heard this. And then you start talking about what you heard and people conflate it and mix all of it together as reporting.
I know. What I am curious about, and I said this on Risker for the Biscuits podcast yesterday, in terms of money made, I am curious as to how many people like me bought the HiFi Rush Deluxe upgrade. You know that deluxe upgrade that they had where for like $10-15 you get some skins and stuff like that. I'm curious how many people bought that because I find myself doing that now with games I'm interested in on Game Pass. I'm like, well, I'm not buying the game. Hey, I'll spend $10 on this DLC pack. Why not?
Yeah.
I feel like Microsoft should push those more.
I agree.
Well, I feel like they don't market those or push it and like be upfront. Say, hey,
they've been pushing it for Redfall really hard. The Bite Back Edition upgrade has been every time I see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. They should.
I think they agree with you.
Should. Yeah, they should. Like, say to people straight up, hey, you're already getting the game as part of your Game Pass sub. Why don't you buy this upgrade and get all these cool bonuses and skins?
Get these Starfield shit designs.
Yes.
Stuff like that.
I will.
Yeah,
they can take my money right now.
Or even that DLC that Capcom always does, which is infinite ammo, invincibility. Do more of those. Mate, you'll get my money every single time.
Yeah.
They get attacked real hard. You know how people react to it.
Why?
Well, Jesse and Nick and John, the running joke for the industry, the gaming industry right now, is anything that Xbox does is bad. It's not good. Anything that PlayStation does, even if it's egregious, that's just PlayStation. It's good, right? Here's a funny story. HiFi Rush came out on the 25th of January, which is a shadow drop, like you discussed. You know what's interesting? One of the first stories that I pulled up, it's from GameRant.com. And they reported on the 30th that HiFi Rush outperforms Forspoken on Steam sales. So more people bought the game that was in Game Pass than Forspoken. A AAA disaster of a game from Square Enix and a PlayStation 5 exclusive. That was the big talk of the town then. So if you didn't know that, folks, that's why the minute I saw this shenanigans pop up, I almost felt bad for Jeff because I like Jeff. Jeff's a good dude, folks. Listen, if there's one guy that I think
Jeff's
just
awesome.
Is as real as they come, it's Jeff Grubb. I just love him very much. He's been on my show a couple of times. He's a real fun guy to just talk to about gaming. And this exploded on the scene. I don't think he was trying to poke fun at Xbox or potentially, interject Jeff Grubb into the zeitgeist of gaming because, no one has heard from him in a while. That was some of the things I heard, which is ridiculous.
What?
It's just some of the stuff that I saw on Twitter. This gross. Oh, Jeff hasn't been around in a minute, so maybe he's trying to, shake things up by going anti-Xbox. I'm like, Jesus Christ, take it easy, guys.
It's people that ignore the fact that he's an actual journalist with a paying job with a huge publication and giant bomb, and he doesn't need cheap internet clout. He has a job.
Yeah, he has a job, and he makes good money, I would imagine. Giant bomb is pretty big. Look, I'll say this, folks. it is. There's a couple of caveats here. One of which, and I think it was Nick that just said this. Sometimes we don't understand how far our voice travels. Xbox is always listening, folks. I'm very, very privileged to say that they actually listen to my show, and I can't specifically say who it is. I don't know. I was told folks over at Redmond like the show. That is ridiculous because it's a small show. I give smoke where it's due. When the Redfall thing, folks, I lost a lot of subs over saying hey, 30 is not enough, man. I'm disappointed. I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna give it the old college effort. If I don't enjoy it in 30, I'm just gonna wait for the patch. There's a lot of stuff to play, but I gave them the smoke, and I think it was fair. I did it in a fair manner. This particular situation that happened on Friday or midday Friday with Jeff, and I am happy that Microsoft didn't throw him under the bus, which they wouldn't do. But I am happy that Aaron Greenberg got ahead of this, John, and Nick, and Jesse, that he got ahead of this and said, hold on, folks. That is not
a minute.
It's not in fact. And you know what's interesting to me? Look, like I said, I get it. I stream 5 days a week. I'm in it. Like, I mean, it's the hands, it's the feet, it's everything. I'm all the way in. But what is shocking to me is how people at this stage of the game don't understand the mindset or the metrics for how actually Game Pass works. Microsoft kicked the teeth of the industry in by doing this in the summer of 2017. They have changed the game, no pun intended. Okay? They don't care that you buy the game because instead of you spending 60 or 70 bucks once, they want to get you for 15 per month for 12 months and then continue that subscription because they keep adding games to the service that keep you there. How is this, like, even in journalism, like, how are websites that HiFi Rush didn't sell well, so guess what? Microsoft is selling the business. Like, you folks are in this. Like, how do you not equate that? I don't know. I understand it's clicks. I understand you got to get people in the door to keep the lights on, but some of it's just ridiculous. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's
you moved yourself, John.
It's interesting because I think Jeff also, in passing, mentioned I didn't see the segment, so I don't want to say something that's wrong because I don't like when people say
quote
stuff
you.
that's wrong.
Yeah.
It was something along the lines of upper management at Microsoft being unhappy with Xbox or something. I saw that going around as well, and I'm like,
here's
no,
the thing,
man. Like,
people just run with this stuff. Like, there's no sourcing. And this is what blows my mind, right? Like, you see certain creators or influencers bemoaning leaks and talking about that stuff and how awful it is. And I get it for the person that's developing the game that's had something leaked, or the marketing team that's had their entire plan revealed, or whatever. But those same people, be it positive news or negative, will frenzy upon the leaks and use it to generate content and either play this wounded, think of the poor people, and then start fights and get all, and it's just like you're benefiting this by playing like some virtuous individual versus just reporting on the news. But if Jason Schreier, a respected journalist, writes a scoop that is leaked information, thank you, Jason. And there's a marked difference between news and newsworthy information and spoiling surprises, I guess, and that's the rub. But I wanted to pick your brains on this, Boom. What's your opinion on how do you believe there is and that's the easy question. Do you believe there's a genuine bias in games, media, and culture across the board where Xbox games get scored less, they get reviewed less, they get more criticism, they have an uphill fight. Do you think that that's fact, or do you think that's confirmation bias because you're an Xbox fan, because you're an Xbox creator?
I'm going to say this. I think that it is. It's a lot of avenues to go down. For me personally, who sees it, who understands the business, there is an inherent bias. I will come right out and say that there is. Now the question is why? Why is there a bias? I mean, there's a multitude of levels to this, guys. One of which, Sony has done so many things right when it comes to their first party development, their console development, getting certain exclusives locked behind their platform, being at the zeitgeist of the conversation when it comes to IP, which is something I feel Microsoft is kind of missing on. If you look at who Sony has marketed with, when you look at the numbers that came in for March, where they were up 400% in Europe, the top 5 games that were sold in Europe for the month of March were all marketed by Sony. All of them were marketed, and they're all zeitgeist titles. Grand Theft Auto, somehow it's still there, and the game came out in 2013. Right? Ridiculous. But Harry Potter, Hogwarts is there. They have a deal with Star Wars for the marketing on that, zeitgeist. They have a marketing deal with Marvel. They are probably going to have something coming out soon. They have the marketing with DC. I mean, again, I know that game has been delayed to 2024. But my point is, I think what happens is Xbox has been behind for so long that Sony gets the extra point or two because they're Sony. Microsoft gets the reduction of the two because they're Xbox. Now, I'm going to say this, and this is no offense to anybody that's much younger than me. There is something to be said about the current journalism or the journalistic men and women that write for these online entities. I wouldn't say newspapers, but that's because I'm old. Where they are PlayStation gamers, and sometimes I'll say this. I'm not throwing any one publication under the bus, but there is something to be said about the way game media was written back in the days for EGM and GamePro and Gamers Republic and Next Gen Gaming, as opposed to the way it's written now. And the words journalistic integrity do not ring strong today as they did back in the days. That's just my opinion on it. I mean, I honestly think that there are some publications that will inherently give an Xbox exclusive a lesser score because it's not on PlayStation. I'm sorry. That's how.
The most egregious of which I can recall of recent memory is Metro actively stating in their review of Hi-Fi Rush that they'd love to give it more applause and more, a higher score. But as Xbox, as a company, haven't released more games compared to PlayStation this year.
It's ridiculous.
I can't. I'm like, are you not reviewing the product or the platform? What are you doing?
It's a weird one. Like, don't get me wrong. There are, let's not be naive. There are straight up full on fanboys in games media,
of course.
But always, I'm not going to name Luke Plunkett publicly, but yeah. Now, the thing is, like I said, it goes both ways. Like, Press, who is it? Stevivor? I can't remember if it's Stevivor or Press Start or.
Stevivor's the one that said, we don't get Sony codes anymore. If that's what
we don't get Sony codes. And like, if you check Twitter, Sony Twitter is like, oh, Survivor, the biggest Xbox fanboys, look at how they review PlayStation games. And it got to the point where Sony's like, we're not giving you codes anymore. Because I think Survivor's averages for PlayStation games are lower than most Xbox games, I think. But again, don't quote me. It's just the stuff I see on Twitter. So that sort of stuff goes both ways. Having said that, I do find it funny how Sony's like, well, you're not giving our games glowing review scores, so we're not going to give you review codes. I mean, that I feel like that doesn't get enough attention. But there's an element of, yes, I've said this before, that a lot of these folks grew up on PlayStation. That's where the memories are attached. That's where the affinity is. But there's also an element of, well, PlayStation's the market leader. So naturally, anything we write about them that's good is going to get more attention, which means anything we write bad about their opposition is going to get more attention. Like back during the 360 era, there was a lot more positivity around Xbox. Why? Because Xbox was far and away the market leader in the US.
Yeah.
Which is where most of these outlets are based. I mean, don't get me wrong, NeoGAF was doing their best to single-handedly turn the tide in favor the other way. But as far as the media goes, there was a lot more positivity around Xbox purely through the fact that they were the market leader. So because these sites are click-driven, even if it pained them to do it, they needed to be a bit more positive about Xbox because Xbox was the market leader. I felt like there was always a little bit of an undercurrent of doing it through gritted teeth back then. Because as I was saying yesterday to someone, I think it was on Risket's podcast, Xbox, whether they like it or not, are forever going to be the bad guy. Whether they like it or not, whether that's even fair or not.
Yeah.
They are forever the bad guy because they are the new guy that came into gaming, and because it's Microsoft, the big evil 90s corporation. Xbox will always forever be the bad guy in gaming. My thing is, like in wrestling, they should lean into it and just be the heel. Just be the heel.
You mean be the modern day Roddy Piper? That would be great.
Yeah. Just be the heel. Like, because think about it logically, right? No matter, look at all the things Microsoft has done in a positive way. Regardless of what you think their intentions were, look at all the things they've done in a positive way. So they were the first with that amazing accessibility controller, right? To the point where they even said, hey, Sony, Nintendo, you want to copy this and do it yourselves? Go for it. And Sony now has. They campaigned for crossplay. They campaigned for, open platform this and that. Again, you can think it was all hokum and you can think it was all fake and whatever you want to do. That's fine. But in the end, they've done a lot of good. Game Pass, regardless of how you feel about it, is a good thing. Game Pass is a way for people to get into gaming and in a cheaper, easier way. All these good things. Yet despite all of that, they're still the bad guy. Everyone still wants to be the first to write that article about how poorly they're doing and blah, blah. So to me, if you're Microsoft, lean into that. Work within the rules that have been made for you in the video game space. So the rules are you're the bad guy and everything you do is wrong. You're the big evil corporation, the $1 trillion corporation, that you're bad, this, that, the other. So if that's the rules, work within those rules. That's just that's a part of the reason I always say, hey, Phil, be a prick. Just be a prick. Like, that's your thing. Lean into it then, because it doesn't matter what good you do. It doesn't matter. Like, as you can see, all that goodwill that you built up with Game Pass and accessibility controllers and recycled controllers for the environment and all these good things Microsoft have done, gone in a matter of 1 minute of Jeff Grubb saying HiFi Rush maybe didn't make as much money as it could have. And all that good stuff gone, and Microsoft's back to being the worst, and they make no games, and they're going to leave the console business, and blah, 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 blah. So if they are the parameters you are operating within in the gaming industry, then maximize yourself within those parameters. Say, okay, so what are we? We're the big bad guy with lots of money. You know what? Let's start throwing money around. That's what we are anyway. We're the big evil corporation that throws money around. Let's do it. And I know they are doing it now with ABK. But I would have gone one step further. Again, this is just all my personal thing. I would find a way to make COD exclusive to Xbox. Just be an asshole and say, well, you know, you keep telling us that we suck. So I guess we need to make Call of Duty exclusive so we don't.
Yeah, they're gonna have the day in the sun when the rumored Infinity Ward Mass Effect first person shooter that's open world comes out, and that's exclusive. The one that Treyarch is working on.
I know Microsoft's not going to do that because they want the deal to go through.
Of course.
But I still think once that deal goes through, start just go all in. Just go all in on being evil bastards. Just say, okay, who's Sony's next most important thing? Square? Let's go buy Square.
That would be
let's go take Sony out of the knees. Let's go buy Square. Screw ya. How are you going to oppose that, Sony? You're going to try and tell them how much we're dominating Japan? What are you going to say? What are you going to say about Square? You're going to complain that, you know, Square's sales... Here's Square publicly telling everyone that all their games are underperforming. Guess we better buy them and help them out. Helps us. It helps Square. What are you going to oppose then?
I wonder. Imagine them making them multi-platform everywhere apart from in Japan. So like they're Square games, they make multi-platform everywhere, but reverse it apart from in Japan. Japan are exclusive to Xbox.
But that's what I'm saying.
Exclusive to Xbox.
You are the evil bastards. So just be the evil bastards. Stop trying to be the nice guy because it's not getting you anywhere. So you've got these guys all writing bad articles about you all the time. No matter what you do, you could like Phil Spencer could pay to try and cure world hunger, and Kotaku will write an article about how he could have spent that money better somewhere else.
There's no doubt about it. Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter what you do. They're going to spin it and make it out to be that you're the bad guy. So lean into it and just be the bad guy. Just be the bad guy.
Yeah, you know what? They never would. They're going to always be the good guy, and that's fine.
I know. I'm just saying what I would do.
Look, when this deal is done, guys, it's gonna change the industry again. The deal is done. We're gonna learn on, I think, Tuesday. I think there's some rumor that the CMA might release their findings a day earlier instead of Wednesday, which is the 26th, because they have this event in London that Microsoft and Xbox have been invited to. So
that's going to be interesting.
It's going to be very interesting. So I think that the rumor is that they're going to release their, but they've already said what their findings are. They moved Sony off the board, right? Like Sony isn't a concern. Their concern was cloud, and cloud is not a concern because instead of just getting Call of Duty, Microsoft says, hey, cloud holders, you can get every Xbox game. Is like PC, Xbox, put any game on there. You just have to own the game. Okay, so the cloud is not an issue. That's why Jim Ryan is trying, but we'll see.
But I mean, you all saw it. Like Sony showed a logo of the PS5, and everyone went nuts. And all they did was show the logo, a logo which everyone already knew what it was going to look like. And hey guys, I got a PS6 logo that I can leak if you want. Everyone already knew what that logo was going to look like. Microsoft revealed their console at the Game Awards, and Jeff's like, "Oh look,
yeah,
Series X, everyone." How cool is that? The Xbox Series X. Wow. So cool. Like that is the world Microsoft operates within.
Yeah.
So the sooner they understand that and work within that, the better off they will be. Because what happens is when you start to play to your strengths, which is that you've got a shit ton of money,
right?
when you start to play to those strengths, you'll turn it around. They will turn it around. Like they'll buy ABK, and eventually, I still think their goal will be to lock COD down eventually. Maybe not immediately, but eventually.
Don't listen to him, CMA.
And then go and buy, like I said, attack Sony directly. Go buy Square. I don't care about Square, but Square takes off one of Sony's legs. Be evil. Just be evil. They already think you're evil. So just be evil.
Well,
anyway,
the uproar that acquisition would get.
Oh, when the acquisition, I've actually had
incredible.
people on my panels tell me that once the acquisition is officially done, the hate narrative, the hate-driven narrative from these sites are going to be tenfold.
I'm looking forward to some op-eds about how the downfall of gaming begins. And...
Yeah, I can't wait.
And you know what's going to happen? You know what's going to happen? The next Call of Duty, like the 2024 Call of Duty, which will be the first proper one under Microsoft, there'll be like a leaf that's not in the right spot in the game. And you're going to see an article from Kotaku that goes, see what happens when you let Microsoft buy ABK?
Yeah,
the
killing
leaves
Call
in
of Duty
games are
sons
gone
of
now. Like,
bitches.
that's it. Call of Duty's finished because these leaves, Phil Spencer told Infinity Ward, don't worry about the leaves. The leaves aren't important in Call of Duty. So look what happens, guys. This is what happens when Microsoft buys ABK. We're done for leaves. That's it. That's what's going to happen. You're gonna see the articles. Look for them next year about how Microsoft ruined Call of Duty. Everyone ignoring Vanguard and Ghost, Call of Duty Ghost, and it's just not Microsoft ruined Call of Duty. See what happened? Anyway, remember I said it.
It's going to be so depressing. Like I just don't. I can't. It's going to be an interesting week next week. So, and a very busy one. So I hope nothing crazy drops.
Speaking
asleep.
Speaking of developers that Microsoft's going to ruin, apparently, Diablo 4's gone gold.
Yeah, it has. But before you talk about that, you should probably read that wonderful super chat from Jay Rambert.
Sorry. Where? Did I miss it? Oh, no, Jay Rambert. $5 super chat. It's mind-boggling that people don't understand that a guaranteed monthly income is better than a one-time purchase. Well, yeah, that's right. Why do you think the whole world is moving to a subscription model? Like, how hard is it to find a one-off license for Office these days? Like Microsoft's had, everyone does subs because why wouldn't you want, like, can you imagine if someone said to you your salary is like paid in a one-off hit and just manage it yourself? Like, everyone wants a regular monthly income, like or weekly or whatever. Like that, of course, that's what these companies want. These companies want to lock you in and have you giving them money on a constant basis.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Sony does too. But they don't have the output currently to justify it. They're working on it. They just bought Firewalk Studio.
Yep.
Another studio that's working on a multiplayer game. Look how far into multiplayer games as a service Sony is leaning. Like
you're desperate for it.
You all sit there and bag Microsoft constantly for all they do is games as a service. Look what Sony's leading into now, because Sony understands, as we have been, and I have been telling you guys for 3 years on this podcast, those Sony first party games aren't the money makers.
Nope.
They're the marketing. They're the window dressing to get you in the door. They're the Maya Christmas window. Hey, look, shiny, pretty, shiny. And then you come in and everything else is what makes the money. Call of Duty is what makes all the money for them.
Yeah.
That's how that stuff works. But yeah. Thanks for that super chat. Diablo 4. Now tell me, because I'm obviously not a game developer, I feel like this game going gold a month and a half in advance feels early to me, in a good way. I'm saying that in a good way. It feels early. Or is that my imagination?
The thing I know about games going gold is that it kind of doesn't mean anything anymore. Like Cyberpunk went gold and then got delayed for a year. Doesn't mean much. You never know.
Fair enough.
We haven't gotten a tweet about Redfall going gold.
And that game's out like in 2 weeks, isn't it?
I cannot find that they ever tweeted out Prey had gone gold. Not everyone does it.
Okay.
So you never know per studio, but it's good. And they're doing another beta, which is
The
Which will be
server
Yeah, I
slam.
saw someone. We'll
Sounds
see
like a
about
wrestling
that
event.
tweet.
The server slam.
Service slam.
Doesn't it sound like a WWE wrestling?
It
event?
does. It does.
The
Absolutely.
server slam. It's like, come on, the Diablo server slam, and then Goldberg just comes out and destroys.
Beats up
everyone.
everybody, takes the belt, and runs into the dressing room. No, you
Yeah.
don't see him again. I remember that.
God, I miss Goldberg.
Me too. I miss the WCW, to be honest with you. I miss the
yeah.
NWO. That's what I miss.
Kevin Nash.
Yeah.
Hogan.
Wasn't this segment about Diablo 4 going gold?
Yeah, Diablo 4. Let's not talk
Thank you,
about
Jesse.
wrestling now. Diablo 4. So yeah,
Getting a third beta too. Like they said, it's great.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy about this is that the response. I said this on Friday's Breakfast and Boom. This is going to be the biggest third-party game of the year. I know that it's up against some big ones like Hogwarts, which keeps selling, and there's so many. But third-party, I have not seen a fever's pitch for a game, especially on social media, than I have seen with Diablo. Like Diablo 4 has exploded. They came right out and said, "No, we're not doing another beta," and people have been begging and asking and begging and asking, and the stuff that's coming with this beta is amazing. Like you're going to be able to play through the prologue and chapter 1. If you hit level 20, you're going to get all this gear that's going to carry over. If you got to level 20 and you beat one of the bosses that they're going to allow into the game, you're going to get extra. You're going to get even more gear. I think this is just genius. And I had said this. My wife and I love these games. Like we're playing through. We're about to get the last achievement for Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance 1, which is beat it on the extreme. It's a 150-point achievement. We're at literally about to finish the game now. So we should have loved this game, and we didn't. We got to level 8, and we were like, yep, this is just not for us. We don't know why. And I think it was the camera, because the camera was pulled all the way back, and I have a really big TV, and it looked like it was an M&M on my screen, which I didn't like. And Mrs. Boom didn't like it. I picked the Barbarian, which is I normally do. She was the Sorcerer because she likes all the magic stuff, and we only got to level 8. So I canceled my $100 pre-order because I always buy the top package, whatever game I'm buying. And then the beta was announced, and I was like, I saw the trailer for the Barbarian. I'm like,
you mean
I gotta buy
Kratos?
this. And I bought it.
Did you
I bought the
see
game
that?
again for $100. I bought the digital edition. We're gonna give it the old college effort. Hopefully, I know that's like Pong Soul and Steel Rain were like, no. You could bring the camera in and make it like the visuals on Baldur's Gate we didn't know how to do that. So
It's in the emote menu, oddly enough.
Yeah.
yeah.
Did you guys see that trailer? Like, don't get me wrong, and this is me showing that I never played Diablo 2, but I first saw that trailer for the Barbarian on Diablo 4, and I'm like, hold on, that's Kratos.
I recognize this guy.
Like, that's Kratos. Like, those axes looked like the Leviathan axe, and then there was a moment in the trailer where he swings around what looks like the chains of Olympus, and I'm like, come on, that is like, how are they getting away with this? Now, some people, I admit, fault here, I was wrong, and that's because I didn't play Diablo 2. But apparently, Diablo 2 has a barbarian with a blue.
Yes,
thing.
yeah, the OG
And when David Jaffe was making God of War, the original Kratos had a blue. The original Kratos looked like the barbarian from Diablo 2, so they had to change him. So this is sort of a full circle moment. Having said that, so I will admit that I was wrong. I know I don't do that often. Now, having said that, Blizzard knew exactly what they were doing.
It was a
with this
double
trailer.
reference. They were referencing their guy and Kratos. And back then, it was literally called, people would joke about how much Kratos looked like the Diablo 2 barbarian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But-
And he was like to the point where they changed Kratos because of it. So that's fine. I understand that. Admit completely I was wrong.
Yeah, our pushback wasn't that there was no reference. It was just that it was a double thing. They're joking about Kratos and their own guy from Diablo 2.
Yeah, like that. They knew exactly what they were doing with that trailer. They knew exactly what they were doing. Like, that was like Kratos through and through. That wasn't just, the Diablo 2 barbarian. That was Kratos. But anyway, Diablo 4 looks quite good. Now, the question I want to ask, which is going to generate a tangent that's going to go for 17 hours. I've said this before. Do you reckon there's someone at Microsoft who's got their hand over the button right now, waiting for ABK to go through? They've got their hand on the button, and the label on that button says Diablo 4 Game Pass Day 1. It's there, waiting. Like that button's just hovering like this.
Can I answer this for a second? Because there is a big debate online, folks. Whether you seen it, you heard it on my shows for sure, that Microsoft has 2 different June shows ready to go. Or they're gonna
yesterday.
Yeah, they're gonna film
said this yesterday.
2 different shows. One is gonna be if ABK goes through, because again, not to go into a tangent, which is what we've done all show, which is great. I love this kind of conversation. The rumor, and they said this in court, that if they get the approval from both the EU and the CMA, they're closing over the FTC, forcing the FTC to.
Oh yeah, they're just going to close over.
They're going to close over. They're definitely going to do that. I know Hogue Law seems that he doesn't like the idea, and I love Hogue. Hogue, shout out to you, brother. Keep getting well, and love what love that you're still with us, of course. But I would close over them and force Lina Khan's hand. There's no doubt about it. So if I said this yesterday, and I think there is a real mic drop moment potentially looming here, guys. Like just hover.
Oh, Diablo 4 on Game Pass Day 1.
If that's announced as your mic drop moment, and it's a double-edged sword here, because we have all been waiting for the family plan to launch in the US and the UK.
Yeah.
Could you imagine
and Australia?
And Australia, there's several regions that haven't gotten it yet. Could you imagine, gentlemen, if we're releasing Diablo 4 into Xbox Game Pass, and on the back end of that, Xbox Friends and Family goes live today?
Be a smart move.
Yeah.
Be a
Very
smart move.
smart, I would say.
Now, they spoke about this on the Xbox Infinite podcast yesterday. I don't think they'd have 2 shows recorded. Like, we've said this in the past, and I've been told the way they record these shows, all of them, Sony, Nintendo, Microsoft, everyone, the way they all do their shows is they record them in chunks, and then they chop and change as they need. They weave it all together. So my guess is they've got the show, and they've recorded the chunks, but they've probably got one chunk for Diablo 4. So, because when the show's the 11th, Diablo's the 6th. Okay, so no, there won't be anything like that. So my guess is they're recording a bunch of stuff that relates to ABK. Like there might be they might show the new COD, the 2023 COD at Microsoft show. I don't know. But then again, Sony's still got the marketing, don't they?
Yeah.
So they probably wouldn't do that. But they must have chunks waiting that relate to ABK, in case ABK has gone through.
Overwatch 2's PvE mode could be shown.
Yeah,
the Blizzard survival game, maybe. You never know.
Maybe something with Crash Team Rumble. That there'll be bits and pieces they have probably recorded that relate to ABK going through. And if ABK's gone through by then, they'll throw all those in to the show. Which could also be why they haven't, again, could also be why they're yet to say how long the show will go for, maybe. Maybe they're waiting on that.
Didn't we see that it was 90 minutes for the show?
2 hours. It was leaked. That Garfield Hoxod Twitter account leaked, and it was a 2. Yeah, but no. What he has leaked is that the combined total of the Xbox Showcase and the Starfield Direct is 2 hours.
Interesting.
So the assumed breakdown is 90 minutes Xbox, half an hour Starfield. That's the assumed breakdown.
Yeah.
Now, again, let's not pretend these are binding contracts. If Microsoft ends up going over 2 hours, I don't think people are going to cry about it or sue them. So if they go a bit longer, they go a bit longer. But yeah, I reckon that would be massive if they can just close ABK and then go push the big red button and go Diablo 4 is day 1 on Game Pass. Oh my God! And like Boom said, launch Family Plan at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh man. That'd be
It'd be carnage, is what it would be.
a pretty big deal.
Absolute carnage.
Yeah. Now,
kind of wanted it to happen, but hey, let's see. Let's
Yeah.
see what happens.
but yeah, speaking of ABK though, South Africa, as you all saw in the thumbnail. Yes, the thumbnail this week, if you're wondering, that is Cape Town. And I made a nice little Xbox moon above Cape Town. Beautiful. That's such a beautiful photo of Cape Town with the sweeping mist going over and amazing. But yes, South Africa is another country that has approved ABK unconditionally.
Yeah.
So they just keep knocking them down one by one. I'm still surprised it took this long, but they keep knocking them down. So I guess now we just continue to wait.
We're just
Don't we?
watching and waiting, right? It's
Yep.
we'll
That's
get
all
there.
we're doing.
I mean, and you know, South Africa again approving. I mean, I know we mentioned it earlier in the show, but Lina Khan, the head of the FTC, she, you know, she's now the outlier, right? As far as we can tell in this regulatory body.
She got absolutely grilled.
It was uncomfortable to watch.
It almost was like
it really was painful.
And the thing is, this is what had like the what's a little bit what's the word? What's a little bit concerning about the FTC and all of this is the fact that she basically had no answer for anything, like a real answer. Like most of us are smart enough to know when we hear a real answer and when we hear a bunch of words being said, right? We generally know the difference. Her answers were just a bunch of words. So it's like, so then what is your reason? What is your reason for wanting to block this? Like, what is your goal here? Like, I can't believe that there was some random, what was she? A politician, governor, senator? I don't know what the hell she was. There was some from Tennessee, this lady who probably doesn't even know what a video game is. And even she was saying to Lina Khan, she's like, so as far as we can tell, Sony is like far and away the market leader in the high-end video game market. Why are you helping them?
Yeah,
she just asked her straight out. She's like, why are you helping them? And she's like, we take on the opinions of like all the parties, but in the end, we're going to come back to the facts.
Yeah,
that's not an answer.
Saying that the facts don't matter. So she's a bit of a walking contradiction. She literally, I mean, if you look, I think why it's so gummed up is because they were in such a rush to get this blockage done before the end of the year that they used a lot of Sony's actual complaints in their own complaint, which was like they copied their best friend's homework. What it appeared. And it's going to be hard for her. I mean, she's, like I said, I mean, again, I don't want to get too technical, but the thing that happened with Axon, which is the company that's suing the FTC for abuse of power. What the FTC ultimately does is they circumvent your merger through their own jurisdiction to make you wait. Usually, it's for the company to run out of money to just give up the thing. That's their way of winning.
Yeah.
And the Axon is they're not a Microsoft, but they're a big company where they said, no, we're not going to give up on this. And right now, Supreme Court voted unanimously that against the FTC, which is really bad for Lina Khan because on top of losing 9 cases in a row,
oof,
they've had several hundred senior level people at the FTC leave.
I've seen some of the letters.
Yeah, the exit interviews were pretty damning. Calling her a dictator, calling her stubborn and unwilling to listen. There's been some discussion about her not using the rule of law, not going against evidence. I mean, she actually said in an interview that the FTC does not need valid evidence to block a deal. Like, I don't know, folks. That sounds illegal to me. I mean, like I said, her ideology, where she wants to protect consumers from corporations that are going to roll over us and we don't have a power or a voice, that is sound. That's who you want in charge.
Yeah.
For some reason, though, she has taken this KBK thing and she's gone after Microsoft, and ultimately there are two things that are going to happen. The deal's going to go through because she's going to bend the knee. Once the EU and the CMA approve, she doesn't have a leg to stand on. And ultimately she's going to wind up losing her position as chair of the FTC for and again, if you didn't know what they're talking about, these hearings were in response to Lina Khan's request for more funding, which of course is a joke because she's lost millions upon millions of dollars in legal fees. 9 cases so far of our money. That's taxpayer money, and she's asking for half a billion dollars more.
Man, that's
not going to happen.
I mean, as an American, does it? I mean, politics is
$500 million in the American government spending is nothing. That's like 1/10 of a plane that we'll never use. So in that sense, I don't care. But it is still incredibly wasteful. But then you look at like the defense budget's like $800 billion, and you're like, yeah, what's $500 million?
Yeah, like I'm not American, obviously, but
obviously,
I find it odd that she seems to be actively working against America's best interest in this space. Like Microsoft is the American company in the video game industry.
Yeah.
So you would think. And they're buying another American company in order to further strengthen themselves in an industry where Microsoft faces very strong international competition.
It's a line of thinking from people that we shouldn't protect it just because it's here. Like we should only worry about customers directly, like our citizens. Just because a company is in the U.S., we shouldn't give them special protections. There's a line of thinking there, an overreaction.
But it's not about special protections, though.
I know, but they think it's an overreaction to how bad we were at stopping things like Google and Meta and all them getting so big, and so it's a massive overreaction.
It's the big tech fear mongering, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, it's the big tech bad thing, but it's in the end, you're still talking about the US, and you're still talking about the US on a global stage. Like, I know we keep going back to Apple, Google, Apple, Microsoft, Google, but there's massive international companies as well. Just because they're not name brands, because they're not from the US, it doesn't mean they don't exist. These companies still exist overseas, and in the end, there's a back and forth and a sort of a competition globally. So, and in the video game space, Microsoft's international competition is 2 Japanese companies, Sony and Japan. Sony and Nintendo in Japan.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what you're seeing from congressmen who are asking during trade negotiations with Japan, why do you let Sony get away with all this stuff?
That's right. That's exactly
the normal
right.
behavior. And you can see that's Xbox's pushback, I think, on this. Because Microsoft knows how to play the government. They know how it works. And America first, friggin' Trump time, and everything that we normally go through, they know to focus on that, and you will get both sides of the aisle on you. On your side, I mean.
Conversely, it's the same reason I was surprised the Japanese FTC approved the deal so quickly.
Yeah, man, that was super fast.
That's what I mean. Like for the same reason, I'm surprised America's not more interested in protecting their own. Japan FTC wasn't interested in protecting their own. Like you would think that, hold on, we don't want, we support Nintendo and Sony. We're Japan. We don't want to just approve Microsoft buying ABK, but they were just like,
okay. It's part of the game, though, maybe, where they know what Sony already does. Like, we hear the rumors, and we know how Sony likes to kill their competition, starting with Nintendo, starting with Sega. If it's too obvious when you back them, then you can put yourself in a bad situation politically. And in the end, the FTCs are outliers because she's willing to go so far knowing it's going to hurt them politically. And all the other, like we see it with the congressmen people that are questioning why Sony's able to do what they do in Japanese trade negotiations is the FTC is the outlier. So normally, yeah, that's how it works. And I think the Japanese equivalent was more like, well, there's no logical reason for this. And so if we give in and just do what our big corporation is asking us to do, it's going to make us look really bad, which is what ended up happening with the CMA, who started that way, looked at it and went, oh, this doesn't work at all. And then had to, turn tail.
Did you guys see CMA's a bit different. I think Jimmy was on the phone to a few of his buddies.
There's no doubt about it.
In the UK, the CMA there, CMA was
they're guaranteed to be on the phone with the Japanese equivalent at Sony's Japan headquarters too.
Yeah. Did you guys see the Wall Street Journal open op? This is on. Like I said, if this comes from me, you that guy's a shill. That's an Xbot. But this was the title, gentlemen, of the Wall Street Journal opinion. This is directly from their Twitter account. FTC Chair Lina Khan is aiding and abetting foreign governments against U.S. businesses and its interests.
Oof.
Yikes.
I think I did read that. I actually read through that article. I'm not smart enough to understand what I was reading, but I read it.
Yeah, it goes on to say the FTC is working with the EU to hamstring U.S. Companies. Chair Lina Khan wants foreign help to impose her agenda that Congress won't pass. Yikes! I mean, she's fired.
I feel like she's walking towards the edge of a plank at this point.
No doubt. Yeah,
that's how it feels. When I saw the way they were grilling her, when I keep seeing all these articles, when I see even just her demeanor and her body language, and when she's like,
she's very arrogant. There's no doubt about it.
I'm more talking about like, I'm just trying to think. Like I know in Australia when you've seen when a politician is just getting towards the end, and they're not going to be in their job for too much longer. There's a certain body language to it. There's a certain air about it. Like you can tell it's coming. It feels that way now with Lina at the moment. It's yeah. Anyway,
awkward.
We'll see. Yep. We'll see. I don't know. I'm amazed we keep finding ways to talk about this every week.
I can't wait for it to be done. Just so we talk about when Toys for Bob is going to deliver to me personally. They're going to fly out to New York. They're going to knock at the door. They're going to say, you are going to get a chance to play Banjo-Kazooie first before everyone because you keep talking about it. And I can't wait.
I just hope, again, I don't personally care much about ABK only because I don't
play many video games.
I don't believe Microsoft will do anything other than leave things as they are.
Yeah, they're not going to touch anything.
But I do hope that Microsoft steps in and is like, okay, well, let's take all these studios off Call of Duty duty.
Yes.
And even if that means Call of Duty doesn't come out yearly and it comes out every couple of years or whatever it is,
like it used to.
Let these studios do other stuff. Again, I don't expect this will happen. It's just what I'd like to happen. To me, Activision Blizzard King becomes a more worthy acquisition when you allow that talent to do other things and you maximize all the IP and
100%,
all that sort of stuff.
100%.
If all you're going to do is just keep the status quo and keep everyone as part of the Call of Duty machine, and then
I don't think that's going to be the case. I really think you're going to get that Microsoft is going to allow for a lot of these studios. Because remember, there's 8 studios that make Call of Duty that worked on the last Call of Duty. It was 8 of them. They don't need 8 people to do it. They don't need 8 studios.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
there's so much potential. There is as much as I don't want ABK, there's genuine potential there if they make the most of it.
Yeah,
they will. I have a feeling that you're going to see a lot of these new, because these teams are going to want to work on something else. They're going to have to want to work on something else.
I hope so. Spring me Sega and Capcom.
Yeah, that's the one. I mean, Japan is an open door right now. I'd like the Sega. Say Sega 3 times and Everborn Saga. He shows up in your mirror. I'm telling you.
Man.
You'd be the happiest man. You'd be like a.
Oh my god! I'll be like, that's it. I'm set. Like if they buy Sega, I'm just set. I'm all right. Like that's it. That's all I care
That's
about.
all you need. It's all you want in life. There's not much to ask, mate.
So great. Just
Here's my question, real quick, Nick. Capcom or Sega?
My heart says Sega, but my head says Capcom. Like, if we're talking from an overall perspective of the games you get, business perspective, the whole lot, Capcom is the smarter play.
Yeah.
You got Monster Hunter, you've got Resident Evil, you get the fighting game community back because you've got Street Fighter. Capcom makes more money than Sega. Like, Capcom is the smarter play.
In my heart, though.
But my heart is Sega. Like, of course, my heart says Sega. And I have these fanciful dreams of Altered Beast coming back, and Golden Axe coming back, and Shinobi.
Virtua Fighter coming back.
Virtua Fighter. And, like, I have all these fanciful dreams of all these things coming back.
There's a funny thing, Nick. You said Capcom makes more money, and they don't. They actually make about a fourth to a... Nope, they make about a fifth the money Sega does, because they don't have mobile. They don't have mobile.
Interesting.
Sega's
got a lot of mobile. Mobile.
Yeah.
Okay. Sega's a little over $1 billion. Sega had a 1.4 billion on hand to buy Rovio with. They've got a lot. They make a lot of money. They make like 1.4 a year.
Get that purchase going. Interesting.
Well, Sega's mobile and King
there you go.
Together.
Maybe my head and my heart can work together, and Sega's the right choice. I mean, ideally, you just take both. Ideally, I'd like both. Then
that's a greedy man talking, but I'm going to subscribe to that. I'll take both as well.
If you take both, then you're entering Utopia territory where you've got Street Fighter, Virtua Fighter, Power Stone, Darkstalkers. You single-handedly
bring back Dino Crisis and Onimusha.
Yep, and Maximo and oh my god, Cannon Spike.
Cannon Spike was pretty dope, dude.
Oh man, the stuff you could bring back, just like you could, if they got Sega and Capcom, they could literally
set off. Can someone clip that noise? I want that noise to play whenever I can. Please, just send me a little MP3 of that little.
They could literally have like a Dreamcast store on the Xbox store, like this specialty Dreamcast section, and put the box art on all the games and just have they were all built on Windows CE. So you have this, they'd be easy as hell to port, and you just put all these Dreamcast games on the Xbox. Oh my God.
It's a dream come true. It is a dream come true.
Oh, jeez. Be so good. I could do a whole episode just talking about the possibilities.
We should discuss this, brother. We may have to have a Dreamcast special edition episode one day. Yeah, I think we're gonna do that.
It would be like I don't care about new games. I care about old games.
Yeah, we know.
I don't care about new games. I don't even care. Oh man,
we can't stop him.
So good.
We can't stop him.
Be so good.
Enjoy his Nintendo podcast, which rarely talks about anything new Nintendo.
Yeah,
I still don't know how I'm going to do that. I don't know how I'm going to do that.
We're not. We need Xbox shows. We don't need Nintendo shows. We need Xbox-focused things.
We need gaming. We've got a movie podcast. When's the next movie podcast?
It's the Raid and...
Yeah, I know. I said when is it? I said when.
Well, we did two like really, really quickly. So I was thinking
so it'll be probably mid-May. Yeah, mid to late May.
Mid-May,
we'll ignore Guardians of the Galaxy 3, which comes out in a couple weeks, and we'll do a couple other movies.
Wait to see that. Oh, boy.
Might have to add that one in.
I'd like to see that.
Yeah, we might have to.
Be a 3-movie podcast.
No,
we can do 3. Yeah. Shut up.
I guess so. I don't know. But if you want access to that movie podcast, you know what to do, right, John?
Yes, you do. You head to patreon.com/XboxEra.
Yep. That's right. We love our patrons. Keep going, John. Fuck. Patron shout.
I didn't realize we were still talking about other things.
You've been asleep for like 3/4 of the podcast.
Let's name a game. Let's name a game first.
Yes, and I have
I wasn't ready. What are you talking about? You
I
know,
thought
This
we were talking
is-
about the movie podcast.
I gotta tell
I
you
told you,
something. This is. I'll put it this way. I have the list in front of me. Anyone that gets this, man, you're just a genius. Straight up.
I did 12 this week because they're so hard that I figured we probably needed more.
Okay. I mean, and now I can read what the category is. Correct.
But first, I'm gonna hit the trailer.
Yes. Okay, we're back now. I think we're drawing to a close with our deal that we have. We have Boom on the show.
Yes.
Now I don't know exactly how old Boom is. He's probably
I'm
said his
old.
age before.
I
He's
was born
probably said his age
1970.
before.
1970, folks.
Oh wow, so you're 10 years older than me. Okay.
Jesus. Yeah.
I'm 1980. I'm 1980.
There you go. There you go.
Okay, so I don't know if Boom is in those same circles of men who like to keep their lower region neat and trim, like some of us young'uns do. So if he doesn't, I'm going to tell him, Boom, mate, I'm telling you, you go to manscaped.com. You get a hold. Mrs. Boom will appreciate it. Don't you worry. You get a hold.
please.
You get a hold of that Lawnmower 4.0,
Which I have, by the way. I have.
have you?
it.
Do you?
Yes.
Well, there you go. Did you use our code for it, XboxEra?
I actually,
say you did.
I
Just say
actually
that you did.
not
just
use
for
the
the
code.
bit, for the sake of the bit, just say you did.
Say that you
But
did.
yes, yes, I actually did. You know what's funny? I did. I used the Xbox Era code and saved 20% on my entire
Yes.
order.
Oh
So
wow!
Oh.
I've only, yeah.
And free shipping and everything.
and free
Amazing.
shipping.
You just
Amazing.
Who
make
doesn't like
sure-
their package in tip-top
That's
shape?
right. You make sure that you don't use the guard to
God's
protect
sake.
yourself.
Always use it.
And
always,
Yeah.
God,
you always
If
have
you
to
don't
make
use
sure
the guard,
to,
you go to jail.
you always have to make sure to not use the guard. Always.
I'm gonna eventually mute you.
And then, mate, it'll be looking very trim and terrific down there. And I reckon 100% Mrs. Boom will appreciate that. I know my wife does. She sent
Indeed.
Manscaped a very nice email saying, thank you, finally. Because
Please stop.
Greek men can be quite
You got a unibrow from the balls all the way to the butthole.
yeah.
Please,
Greek
please,
men
God,
can
stop.
tend to be a little extra
This
in that
hurts.
department.
Just men?
So,
You sure?
yeah, so Manscaped comes in handy there. Lawnmower 4.0. And the Weed Whacker does really well up here too.
Yeah.
Make no mistake. Anyway, name a game.
Oh, it's over. Thank God.
Brilliant. What a read.
I love it.
Oh, God.
All right, so
So I
I
go straight down the list, Boom. Give him the category.
Hang
Okay,
on,
the
wait.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I
wait.
gotta say
This
we're
is
playing for it.
important. This is
Yes.
important because patrons know that if you're a member of the Patreon via patreon.com/XboxEra, we will play for you. Nick and I will play our hearts and souls for you every week, and you get a chance to win a game code.
Nice.
Yep. Now,
So,
this week,
you know, why not?
I am playing for Brian O.
Oh.
And John is playing for Omen.
There's lots
this
of
week,
O's going on,
we
man.
went for
Oh.
Make our
Oh.
O face.
Ew, no.
Yeah. So Brian O and Omen are playing.
Good
for.
to hear. Good to hear.
Good to hear. Yeah, good luck, gentlemen. 'cause,
I know, now
you're
this,
gonna need it.
this first one, Boom. Give him the category and then we'll talk.
The category, ladies and gentlemen, and John and Nick, is Sega Genesis games.
Oh, I'm screwed.
Yes.
Never had one.
So
Never had one.
John seems to get the short end of
I'm
the
out.
stick before we even start.
Yes.
And
They're
the
mostly
advantage is
multi-plat.
moved-
Mostly multi-plat.
Let's just call it off and give Brian O the win.
I'll just forfeit.
These are
Yeah,
almost
let's-
all multi-plat. Only a couple of exclusives.
Yes.
Hang on, let me just turn on the chat here.
Okay.
All that on- Oh, he's definitely using the chat.
They both have it
If he
on.
wasn't already. He's
They both have
definitely using the.
I'm going to go with the first one, gentlemen, when you are ready.
So
ready.
This first one's as hard as it gets because it's not a big game.
I would have never gotten this. Disco Detective. What does that mean? What does it equate to?
It was not a big game, but I played it and it was hilarious.
You played it?
Oh yeah, we rented it. It was unbelievable, unbelievably gory and ridiculous for a Sega Genesis game.
It was pretty unbelievable for its time. Yes.
Yeah.
So, just in case people who are new to the show don't understand what's going on, it's the name of a game with synonyms replacing the actual title of the game. Example that we always use is Perfect Dark becomes Immaculate Shadow, right? So that's the gist.
Damn, I
so
can't
we're
use that
dealing
one
with Dance Detective right now.
Yes. Disco Detective.
Oh my God, chat got it. Wow, so John's about to get it right then.
Yeah. No, I haven't got chat.
Wow.
After 10 minutes of going, John will suddenly get it.
I cannot believe chat got that. That's incredible. Way to go.
Disco.
Way to go, Chad.
Disco, like a club.
Yes. Disco
Club.
Detective.
Club. I'm like club something. It's probably a Mega Drive game I've never heard of.
Worst comes to worst, we can give you the initials for the game. It is 2 words.
A disco is a nightclub. A disco is a club.
Yes.
I would associate the word disco with dance.
This is a type of disco. It is not used in that way because of the Japanese to English translation. So there are different types of disco. This game uses a word that only means a specific type of synth-heavy disco. But they used it in the wrong way because a lot of Genesis and a lot of games
you told
back
me
then.
the first word, but I don't know the second word. I don't know this game. I don't know a game that starts with the word that I know this first word is. So this is a Mega Drive game I've never heard of.
All right, so we don't spend forever on it. We're going to go with the initials. Let them know the initials. Boom.
I know the first word.
T is the first
So I know
one.
the first
T
word because I listened to that music.
is the
I
second
listened to that
word.
music as a teenager.
You
So
talked over the second word. You didn't hear it.
C, like in Charlie.
C.
C. T. C.
Disco Detective. Okay. Well, then based purely on that,
Mm-hmm.
techno, because that's the music I listen to. Detective. C. Cop. Another word for
There you
detective is a cop.
Correct.
What the hell is techno cop?
You've never
What's
seen
techno
Technocop? My God, I should pull up some
No.
footage of Technocop right now. It is.
Cop?
It is an old 2D, like side-scrolling
Yeah.
shooter
I've never
where
heard of this
you,
game.
when you killed someone, they exploded into a pile
It
of
was
viscous guts.
Gory. H. Yeah.
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, here we go. It's gonna do the stinger, but bam. So this game.
1990.
So those are dead guys on the ground. They just explode into a pile of
Goo.
yes.
Guts.
When you kill someone, they just blow up. So that's why it's.
I've never heard of this game.
Mm-hmm. They stayed
Are you
there.
guys ready for number 2?
So good.
This one, I think I have a feeling that that Nick's gonna get this one. Brilliant Cleave.
Gonna give Nick his point before I get yelled
I
at.
hear crickets, ladies and gentlemen.
Cleave.
Brilliant
Is it like a cleaver?
Cleave.
Just
like
brilliant.
cleave.
The word cleave. CLEAVE.
Yeah, like a cleaver is one of those big chopping knife things. So cleave, I assume. Brilliant cleave.
This is one of their bigger ones, John. It was a big arcade game. Even if you don't know Genesis, you might know it.
Oh. Why do you keep doing that? You give me the clue by saying
I was trying to
that.
give him one. It's the only chance he had. I can see the monkey just spanging the cymbals in there with no idea what's going on.
Because it's like Mega Drive, it's going to be Sega stuff. You're giving me the clue more than you're giving him.
It's the only chance he
John
had.
should be basing it purely on the words. I've got the games in my head. Golden Axe.
Yes, that is
I've got
correct.
the games in my
Have
head.
you ever heard of Golden Axe, John?
Yes, of course he has.
Okay,
He has
see
to.
there, trying to help out.
That's what I was, and the funny thing is, I was
This-
giving
the
John
next-
half
the
a clue. I'm like, a cleaver.
Yes.
There you go. Axe is like a cleaver, like a meat cleaver. But
And brilliant. Brilliant. For golden.
Brilliant.
Like
The brilliant was throwing me.
golden.
The brilliant was throwing me.
Golden
but then
doesn't
we're just
have many
like, oh, it's an
direct
arcade game. I'm like,
synonyms.
well, dude, it's an arcade game.
All their
What's an
games are
arcade
arcade games almost.
I know most of them.
Well,
are.
this one wasn't. The next one, I don't think anyone's gonna get this one. Delusion Celebrity. Delusion Celebrity.
It's like the worst category for me.
Um,
No fucking idea at all.
All right.
You've definitely.
We'll get because we could be here till tomorrow, but we will give.
is this a
10
one-word
seconds.
game? Is this a
No,
one-word
it's two.
game?
No, it's two. It's 2 words. 2 words.
There were multiples of them on the system, but they all had very long
Delusion.
names.
Celebrity.
I'm starting the timer. 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Time's up.
They
Tell
got
me.
for us.
That's what I was saying. Is that one word? I was going to say Ristar. I was like something star. Ristar.
Well, you're close, but it's Fantasy Star. Fantasy Star.
Never
is
heard
the
of it,
answer.
mate.
How did I not
Boy.
get that?
I would have never gotten that. Okay, so this one is
How
I don't
did I
think
not
anyone's gonna
get
get
that?
either. This
This is a multi-platform
this is
game. You
hard.
might have a chance, John.
Abyss Combatant.
One word with a hyphen.
Oh, what?
One word with a
Abyss
hyphen.
Combatant.
Oh, then I've got it wrong. I got it wrong then. Shit. Abyss Combatant. Damn it. I was going to say Eternal Champions. That's wrong.
How is Abyss Eternal?
I don't know.
Well, the answer for that one.
I don't know.
is-
John's got
Pit-
time. John's got time still.
Oh, you still have time.
He's got a
okay.
shaking head
You
because
just
he has
told
no
him.
idea.
I have
You just
no
told him the
fucking
answer. I
clue.
know what it is now. Pit Fighter.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I kind of shot that out there.
I
This
had
next
Pit
one is
Fighter.
there's another one. This is another one's ridiculous. You guys ready?
Do the
This
buzzer.
is
Do the
a
buzzer.
rid
I will.
punch.
Sorry?
A rid punch.
Arid.
ARID.
Yeah.
A rid
Arid
punch.
Punch.
Arid Punch.
Arid Punch. Arid Punch.
I would have
Multi-platform.
never gotten it.
Not a
I don't know
Sega
what
game.
Arid is.
Not
Oh,
a
it's
Sega
arid.
exclusive.
Arid. What's Arid?
Arid punch.
What's Arid?
Can we give them a clue of who?
I can't look up what Arid is.
We've
can
got so
I?
many
I can't
left,
look
we
up what
don't-
Arid is, can I?
No. We've got so many left. No clues. I got another like
No
8.
clues.
I don't know what Arid is. So there's no point in me guessing.
Your son plus D.
Yeah. Arid Punch. I don't know what Arid is. So I can only guess the second word, but I don't know what Arid is.
You come into this so defeated looking, John. This isn't a Sega game. It's a.
Is this-
Hmm.
Most of
Is
these
this
are actually third
multi-platform?
parties.
Yes, this was
Yeah.
multi-platform as best as I remember.
Yes, it was. It was multi-platform.
Man.
Made by a company that used to go by a full name, but now only goes by 2 letters.
EA.
Yeah.
If I knew what Arid was, I'd be able. John, tell me what Arid is, and I'll guess the game.
The chat's got it. So
I don't know
many
what Arid
times.
is. I don't know what Arid is.
John doesn't want to get it right because he's seen it in chat and now he doesn't want to give up.
You
the
tell
game.
me. You
Chat-
tell
the
me
chat
what
got
Arid
this?
is.
Holy
You
cow.
tell me
Good
what
job,
Arid
chat.
is, and then I'll guess the
Arid is
Punch
dry.
Timer ran out. Sorry.
Oh,
Time
did
ran
it?
out.
Oh,
Desert
Desert
Strike
Strike.
was the
Desert
answer.
Oh fuck me! I
Strike.
actually played Desert Strike, the helicopter
Desert
one.
Strike.
Yes.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
had a bunch of sequels. Fuck my life.
Gotta stop thinking it's all going to just be
Desert
Sega stuff.
Strike. I didn't know what Arid meant.
Yeah.
Well, this one is pretty. This is one. This one's a good one. I think you guys should get this one.
this game sucks. No more Sega stuff. It's like cheat code.
Closing Lethal Contest 3. Closing Lethal Contest
no.
3.
No, forget it. I didn't really know. It's a wrong guess from me. It's like Final Fight, but there's 3 words there. Final Fight Tournament 3. I don't know. Whatever.
Do
Closing lethal
both
what?
gentlemen
Closing
give up?
lethal what? Closing lethal what?
Closing Lethal Contest 3. Very popular game on Genesis.
Yeah. Shit. It's not Streets of Rage 3. Closing Lethal Contest. Shit. Oh, this is gonna kill me if I don't get this.
Starting up
This
the
is gonna
timer.
absolutely kill me.
Timer going. 5,
Shit.
4, 3, 2,
No.
1.
Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 is the answer. Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3.
Wait, did that make it onto Mega Drive?
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Okay.
sure
Yep,
that was a
it
Genesis.
was
Because the
not a
Sega
great
Saturn
version.
port, the Sega Saturn port was like the premier best one. God, I
Never
forgot
heard of
that
the
came
Sega
out on Mega
Saturn.
Drive. That might be
Okay,
why I
ready? Okay. Digit, Dilemma, and Aristocrat.
Digit Dilemma is one word. Digit dash Dilemma and
Yes.
Aristocrat.
Toe Jam and Earl.
Oh, wow.
I thought that one's
That
pretty easy.
is... Wow. Okay, good. Good for you, brother. You got it right. That's 3. You have 3 right.
He wins.
This
Yeah,
was
he
always
wins.
going to be my topic. This was always going to be my topic. Like,
I played Toe Jam and Earl as well.
yeah,
Love
so
did
those
I.
games, man.
Yeah,
back
you
in the day.
you came
well-
into this defeated looking. I knew you were just
Yeah,
you're
I
ready to
went-
give up.
And as soon as
When
you
you
said it's
said
all
Digit-
Sega Genesis games, I was like, what is the fucking point?
when you said digit, I'm like finger, but I'm like, no, there's no finger games on Mega Drive, but there's a toe game.
There you go.
Yeah. Tyler
Yeah,
Martin, Toe, Digit,
Great.
Dilemma, Jam, Earl, Aristocrat.
Yeah, well played.
It works.
Toe Jam and Earl.
Ready for the... Here's the
Congratulations,
next...
Brian. Brian.
Here's the next one. Nightfall
Oh,
Travelers.
There's
You-
more, and I
did you-
just jumped out of the
Why do you
buzzer.
guys always jump out immediately?
I'm still in the buzzer. Come on, this is my chance.
Sorry.
Nightfall Travelers. It was an arcade game mainly.
I'm going to give a quick
Nightfall
clue.
Travelers.
It was made by Konami.
People love it. Absolutely love it.
Yes.
Nightfall Travelers
It's bigger.
by Konami. Nightfall Travelers.
Man.
Somebody clip that sound too.
Let's get a timer.
This is like the worst round ever for me. Like, none of these have landed.
I went to
Boo.
say midnight.
seconds
I
going.
went to say midnight, and I'm like, it's not midnight. There's no midnight. thing that
5,
Konami made.
4,
Night
3, 2, 1.
Sunset Riders.
Oh, the whole game where they
was
ride the horses.
answer. Yes.
Mhm.
Sunset Riders by
I
Konami.
remember that arcade game.
Yes. Okay, ready for the
I
next
want to say
one?
midnight.
You should know
Yeah.
the next one, John.
You definitely should, John. You should know this one.
Motherfucker.
You've said that a lot.
Boulevard
them.
Hasty.
2 words. Boulevard,
Boulevard.
Hasty.
The Hasty's getting me. I know Boulevard, but the Hasty is getting me. This isn't
Is it Road Rash?
Road Rash.
Holy
It is Road Rash. I was going to say, because I'm
got
thinking
it.
Rash. I had the road part. I'm like, Rash. I'm like,
Rash
how is
decision. Rash
Hasty?
decision. Hasty decision.
I guess so.
Wow.
Good one.
Ah.
You got
guess
one.
so.
There you
Road
go.
Rash popped into my head, but I'm like, Rash? Oh, the Rash part was throwing me with decision.
San
Feel
Francisco
good.
go.
Rush.
I feel good about myself.
There
Finally.
you go, John. You should. That was difficult.
Damn,
this
and I
is a
knew
good
that
one.
I just the Rash threw me.
Nobleman of ancient Iran.
Ancient Iran is one word with a hyphen. I actually thought this one was unbelievably easy.
Nobleman
Nobleman
of ancient
Iran.
Iran.
Yeah, chat's getting it right away.
on Mega Drive.
It's an old school game
On everything.
on everything.
This would be Prince of Persia.
I just
Yes.
got it.
You
got
just
it.
read it
As soon
on
as-
chat. Yes, Nick.
As soon as you said it on everything, I'm like, oh yeah, Prince of Persia. But even Prince of Persia, I don't remember on Mega Drive.
Yeah, they was the old school one, the 2D
Because
one.
when
that
you
was
were
terrible.
describing it, I'm like, what? Aladdin? I'm like,
In my
Aladdin
head,
was
I
on
was
Mega
like-
Drive.
King of Egypt. So I was like, that's stupid.
I'm like, Aladdin? I'm like, Aladdin? Because I'm thinking Baghdad or something. I'm like, wait, Aladdin? But that's not Aladdin.
Okay, here's the second to last one. Away Jaunt. Away Jaunt. Jaunt.
Away Jaunt. Oh, no. Ooh, I nearly...
This is a
Oh.
classic.
Yeah, but I nearly said the wrong thing there.
Away. Jaunt.
2 words.
Oh my god! I reckon I know exactly what this is, and it's one of those ones where Jesse's done a word that really doesn't relate to the second word.
What are you thinking?
Are the letters AW?
No.
No.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
eat
so it's
shit.
not that
Eat
game, then.
shit, Nick.
It's not that game then. It's not that game then.
Oh man.
Away Jaunt. 10-second timer, Jesse. Start it
no,
up.
no, it's the last
Jaunties.
one.
I know what.
No,
it
yeah,
is.
one more after this. There's one more after this.
Away Jaunt.
Hold on, is this one word?
It's 2 words.
Yeah, it's 2 words.
2
So I
words.
know what
Away
a
Jaunt
jaunt
is 2
is.
words, and the name of the game is 2 words.
I know what a jaunt.
Away. Away.
The away part that's getting me.
Starting up the timer now.
You guys are gonna be mad if you didn't get this. You're gonna be so mad.
Yeah, I know. I can
I
tell.
can show
I
the
can
timer
tell
to
I'm gonna
this.
be
Oh, I
mad.
can't show it. Damn it.
And the time's up.
What is it?
The
What is it?
answer is Outrun. Outrun.
That's
Oh.
one word.
No, it's 2. It is 2. I looked it up on the Wikipedia. It is Out Space Run.
Oh,
Wow.
On
I
the, on
know.
the arcade cabinet, it's together.
I always saw outrun as one
I
word.
know, it's tricky. They trick you.
Okay, so here's the last one. I think John gets this. John, I think I'm putting the pressure on you, John. I think you get this.
Okay.
The Wildcat Sultan. The Wildcat Sultan. This
Really?
was
This was multiplat.
extremely.
This was multiplat, wasn't it?
popular.
Yes.
Yes, it was on everything.
Yeah. This was multiplat.
Is it the Lion King game?
Yes, you did it, John. I can put the pressure on you, and you did it. There it is, brother. You got it. So, I think this might be a tie.
No, it's
John?
not. First
No,
to
no,
3
I
wins.
won.
Nick
I won.
Oh, it's first to
absolutely
3.
beasted
Okay.
me.
And then we just do the
in
rest
that game.
anyway. As
We do
part
them
of
for
the
fun.
Okay.
As part of the fun.
Like there was no way I was winning this week. Like
Yeah.
zero
As
chance.
soon as Jesse said Mega Drive, I'm like, well, this is over.
I didn't. I said
You were like,
Genesis.
let's go.
I'm like, yeah, this is over. It's
Man.
like saying
Oh,
this
man.
week's topic's going to be Dreamcast games. I'm like, well.
And
that's
so-
quick now,
Dreamcast
John.
guy wins.
If you say Dreamcast, Mega Drive, Nintendo.
I beat
I
you
gotta
in
say,
all of
guys,
these.
this was a fantastic 2+ hours. I had an absolute blast. We went off a lot of tangents here.
It's not over yet. There's probably another 2 hours to go.
Well, the Mrs. Boom is gonna kill me if that in fact is.
We'll
the
get through them
case.
quick. We just have some community
We've got-
questions
we've
that
still
will.
got community questions.
Yeah.
We've still got community questions.
And if you ever
but
do- if
before we
you do have
community
to go,
questions-
You always can.
Yeah, I got about another 10 minutes, guys. I really do. Like
Mhm.
I told the 2 hours, and today's our movie
Oh,
night. So
we're terrible at going 2 hours.
Yeah, 2 hours. Boom.
yeah, I got it down to a pattern. But listen, I'll stay for a couple of community questions. But unfortunately, after that, I
Let's
gotta
see if there's
go.
any specifically for Boom, and then
Okay.
Okay. Are we saying hi to the patrons?
Of course we are.
Yeah.
Because community questions is an important part of the XboxEra podcast. It has been here since day one, and it's an exclusive feature to our XboxEra patrons. So if you'd like to ask Nick and the panel the rest of the questions every week, you can do so by becoming an XboxEra patron. Simply visit patreon.com/XboxEra. And I think it's the $6 tier and above, and you are in, and you can ask questions galore. Have at it. And you get access to a special secret place on the Discord. Ooh.
Yeah.
There you go. Fun.
I give a lot of games out there.
It's true.
Yeah.
There is a lot of
Let me know who
giveaways
you're
for
doing,
patrons.
Nick, and I'll
It's
get them
not
up.
it's not the God of War League Discord. It's not that one.
No, it's not that secret.
Another
Discord.
Discord.
It's not the one that doesn't exist.
It's not the God of War League one. It's a different one. Okay. Hi them G.
See if there are ones that have boom.
Yeah, find ones that are boom specific.
Wait. I don't know if there's any specifically for boom, is it?
These jerks. Our patrons never ask about our guests.
No, they're like general ones for us.
No.
That's okay.
No, that's fine.
Pick some favorites that Boom might like then.
Get a good one or two.
Okay. I'll go all the way to the bottom. Topp. How ironic. Topp. Hello. Well, Topp is the last question on the page. Topp. Hello. First off, I'm truly impressed how many of my fellow Patreons are able to come up with questions each week. After last week's discussions, what is the ideal size for a game world/map? And how big is too big for a map? All of the games are too big. All of them. I as I said last week, Topp, I think Shadow of Mordor has a very reasonably sized map. It's actually 2 maps, but both of them are very, very reasonably sized for an open world Ubisoft style game that's really more about kicking the ass of orcs. Crackdown, very reasonably sized map.
I agree. Yeah.
Especially given your traversal options, like the fact that you could just jump across buildings and get to the other side very, very quickly.
Yeah.
Crackdown is also a very reasonably sized map. Everything else is too big. The rest of it's too big. Breath of the Wild's okay. It's
for a
somewhere.
map game.
It lies somewhere in the middle between too big and a good size. Somewhere in the middle. But that's also a Zelda game, so you make exceptions where exceptions should be made.
And you make exceptions if you're a jerk. That's what I say.
No, you make exceptions where exceptions apply, and Zelda is one of those exceptions. When you're talking about one of the greatest video game franchises, when you're talking about one of the greatest video game franchises in history,
what about it?
You make exceptions.
Nope.
I want to ask this question, especially because we've got Boom on, and like me, he's old. Now, Mort. Hello there. I have recently fallen in love with the DualSense and spent the past week premium gaming, trademark, on my PlayStation 5. Now, which controller ever released is your favorite? Oh, boy. And which is your worst? Hugs, Mort. Now, I love this discussion. The DualSense is, I will say, I have said this from November, whatever, 2020, when the PlayStation 5 came out. The DualSense controller is far and away the best controller Sony has ever made. Like, it's not.
I would agree on that.
It's not even fair to compare the DualSense to the other 4 pieces of garbage that Sony
the other
made.
Ones after that. Yeah,
and make no mistake, those 4 control, like now that you know how gamers do that thing where they'll defend something to the death when it exists, but then when the new thing comes out, the old thing sucked. So now that we're living in a world where PlayStation fanboys can admit that all the DualShock controllers were pieces of shit, the DualShock controllers were pieces of shit. All 4 of them. Sony took the SNES pad and added handles and called it a day. Like, those controllers sucked. The greatest controller ever for me is still the Elite in terms of feel, and yes, they're built like garbage. Don't get me wrong, Elite controllers are built like garbage, but in terms of everything else that makes a controller, the Elite controllers are the best. Having said that, for me, the DualSense Edge has rocketed to second. It's probably my controller ever, DualSense Edge. Very good controller. Because now that Sony has learned that it was the length of their handles that were making their controllers feel like shit, I can deal with the symmetrical sticks more now because the handles are longer. So my thumbs now
where they're
rest
supposed to
in a
be.
better position
Yeah.
because the handles are longer. Where if you try and hold a DualShock 3 now, you may as well go to hospital for broken thumbs. Like, because your thumbs are like down here when you're holding the stupid controller. But Sony fanboys didn't want to admit that back then because praise be to Sony and everything Sony did had to be the best. They couldn't just admit the truth for what it was, which was that the DualShock 3 was a complete piece of shit. But yes, and then the third best controller, still the Switch Pro controller is okay. The GameCube controller is very good. Third place is a bit trickier for me. I mean, the 360 controller is still incredible. Let's not forget the 360 controller outside of the D-pad, which is straight up stupidity. Third spot is tough for me. There's quite a few controllers vying, and then there's another argument to be had. All these controllers, DualSense Edge, Xbox Elite, 360, they're not great for fighters. Are we talking about a fighting game controller? Because then all of a sudden the Saturn comes into the conversation because the Saturn probably has one of the best controllers ever for a fighting game.
Yeah, 100%.
6-button Mega Drive pad. 6-button Mega Drive pad's amazing for fighters. So if what you want to play is your 2D fighters.
Nick, you were happy because Boom could answer this one, so maybe he should because he has to.
Yeah.
I just got carried away.
Listen, I'm just letting him go. No, this is a conversation. For me personally, number one, easily is the Elite. I have every one of them that's ever been released. I have the Gears. I have the Halo. I have the white and black.
You got that Gears one?
I do, yeah.
That's
funny
worth
story
so
about
much
that
money.
real quick before I get on out of here. I bought it. I pre-ordered it, and the right bumper broke off. So I called, and I said, "Listen, I got this Elite controller. It's the Gears Elite controller. I have to get this fixed. I'm under warranty, but I got to make sure that I get this one back because it's so rare." The guy's like, "No problem. We're gonna make sure I'm gonna put in the notes." It types on the computer like this, and I get the my Elite controller, and it's the black one. So I was crushed.
Very happy.
Crushed. So I go to Twitter, and I'm like, as happy as I am that I have the Elite controller, this is what was sent to me, and not the Gears one, which I can't get anymore. Who steps in to save the day? Captain Aaron Greenberg DMs me and says, "Hey, Boom." This is before I think I was even a Boom. I think I had just started on Crossfire back then. And he said, "Listen, I'm going to have someone reach out to you from my staff. We're going to make this right." So I asked him, "Aaron, what do I do with this extra Elite controller?"
Keep it.
He says, "Keep it. We're going to get you the Gears one." And within a week, he sent me a brand new, mint, unopened Gears controller, which I still have.
You know
how much that's worth? You know how much that is?
$1,000 easily. Yeah. Yes, I have everything.
Do you know what? That's why Xbox fans like Xbox. Because they're actually out there talking to them, responding. They're actually human beings.
There you go.
In the meantime, I tagged PlayStation about my son's child account, and I haven't heard shit.
You probably never will, unfortunately. And I saw that tweet, and I favored it because that's disgusting. That's gross.
I've even got Fortnite in the allowed games. You saw it in the screenshot. It's got allowed games, and he can't play Fortnite. Like,
he cannot play, which is
come on, man.
So Sony, just
that's your number one, Boom. What's your number 2 and 3?
Yes, what's your number 2?
The number 2 is, and I might get booed by this by some Xbox fans. I really like the DualSense.
Yes,
I like the weight of it. I like how when I pull the trigger, it feels like there's there's something pulling back. Like when I use the bow for
Horizon,
it's great. All of the things that I use the controller for the launch rope. I keep forgetting the name of it. The little robot character.
Astrobot.
Astro was a
amazing
game. I platinumed
amazing game.
My third one, though, you can say the 360. Oh, I had the Virtual Boy. I nearly went blind. I had every system ever released in mankind. But this is going to take people back, folks. My third one is the Neo Geo handheld one. Because if you remember, it didn't have a square for the fighter pad. It was a round, and it went around in circles, made that clicky noise.
Oh, yeah.
It was amazing.
I just Googled it now. Yeah, I just saw it. It's almost like the 3DS's little stick.
Yes, it is. It was the greatest fighting controller because there was no directional. It literally was a round circle that you moved with your thumb, and it made the clicky sound like when you were in the arcade. It was amazing. The worst, before I get out of here, folks, the worst controller in the history of mankind is not the Atari 2600 one stick, one button. No, it is the Wiimote. Absolutely.
Nah, don't say that.
I have to call it out. That holding the Wiimote itself wasn't terrible. It was the analog that you had to plug into it that you held in your right hand.
That was okay.
The nunchuck.
And it was you had nothing. It wasn't stuck together. I played like this.
Come on,
and
Boom.
I nearly crippled myself. It was crazy.
You and I are old enough to have played the Atari Jaguar. That was the worst controller.
That was a pretty bad controller, but it was not as bad as the Wiimote.
Oh, come on, Jesse, bring up the Atari.
You can't insult the Wii, anything Nintendo around Nick. He won't stand for it.
I understand he's a Nintendo
guy. The Nintendo 64
controller
controller is a bit stupid, and that's my favorite Nintendo console, and that controller is stupid.
My favorite Nintendo controller, GameCube.
Yeah. Well, I was about to say like my controllers easily would be Elite. Is my favorite of all time. Like it's really good. 360 as a follow up, and GameCube controller.
GameCube controller. Amazing. It's weird at first, but then it melts into your hand after a while.
It's just nice and light and completely indestructible.
Look what I got, guys. I just got this. Just came in.
Nice.
Yeah, look at that. See,
very nice.
And I've still got my Wavebirds.
I have my Wavebird in storage as well. Look at that. He's going for it. This actually goes on to. Oh, look at you! Wow, that's classic. That I have that in storage. The Wavebird is, and it still works. Holy moly!
Yeah, I've got my Wave set up. I still have
this doubles as a controller like this, but it slides off and goes onto the side of the Switch.
Nice.
That's really amazing. Cool. The what is it?
I might have to look at one of them for Smash Brothers because you can't play Smash Brothers on the
amazing.
Worst controller though is the sides of the Switch when you have to unplug them.
Yeah, I know. That's why you buy the Skull and Co grip cases for the Switch, and they make the Switch feel like a controller in your hand. Because let's be honest, the Switch is the least ergonomic device possibly in the history of video games. It's terrible. But if you get the Skull and Co Switch grip case, mate, amazing. It changes your life in terms of playing the Switch in handheld mode.
I've been having to use the Switch Pro controller more lately because I've been emulating Zelda, and it's not bad. It's pretty good.
Yeah, the Switch Pro controller is a very good controller. I mean, it'd be better if the triggers were analog.
Yeah.
Which is still silly. The only time Nintendo's had analog triggers is the GameCube.
Yep.
That's the only time they had analog triggers.
I have never once played a GameCube or even seen one in person.
Come on.
I still have one in storage. One of my favorite consoles, like Dreamcast is number 1, 360 number 2, third on the list of favorite consoles of all time, especially when we're talking classics, is GameCube by leaps and bounds. They had some of the greatest games. But listen, gentlemen, I hate to hang out and run because I know that
It's right. We're taking it personally right now. It's fine.
It's fine. We'll make sure this episode gets deleted mysteriously
Oh
too.
my god! This is one of my favorite episodes
Why
of
do you
the
invite
year
this
so
guy
far.
on
I
here?
can't believe it.
What the fuck?
Listen, I'm not even going to tell everyone who I am, where I am. You guys got to continue your show. I just want to say, guys, look, honestly, the work that you guys have done in the community is second to none. It's phenomenal. I was one of the first Patreons for the book, one of the higher tiers. Immediately had to support you guys on that. I will immediately, on the highest tier, support you for the magazine thing that you discussed, John. I think that is freaking brilliant. I just love the idea. Like I said, the way you guys interact with everybody, how much fun you have with the shows. It's always great. It's always an amazing listen to, especially when you have incredible guests on. Listen, I mean, I'm not going to say that I'm incredible because I'm just happy to be here. Honestly, it just was a lot of fun. But Mrs. Boom and I, we have our movie nights. It's Saturday night. That's
what are you watching?
I get it.
We're actually really into K-dramas.
Oh, okay.
We love K-dramas. So we're finishing up one now, and we're going to probably start another one tonight. We watched, what did we watch? What Marvel film? Oh, Ant-Man and the Wasp yesterday.
Okay.
Loved
It's all right.
Loved it. Quite
okay.
enjoyed it. Quite enjoyed that film.
I haven't seen it yet, so it's on my
It's
list.
really good. I mean, if you're again, it's a Marvel movie. Just you know what you're going to get.
You should go to the movies and see it, John.
Yeah,
I don't go to the movies.
I will.
I'm on John.
It's on Disney Plus right now.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Do you subscribe to Disney Plus?
I do subscribe to Disney Plus,
Okay.
Nicholas.
That's how you watch Bluey, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still can't believe Bluey is on Disney Plus in the US. I can't believe that.
I can't believe that they banned the
in Australia getting
episode.
screwed.
Thank you so much for being here, Boom.
Yeah,
They're
Boom.
going
Australia,
on
it's
a
free.
legend.
Bluey's free here. It's free. It's completely free.
Let Boom go, for goodness sake.
Okay.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for understanding.
Thank you.
You guys have a good night. Everyone take care. Please hit the like button before you get subbed them. We got to get them to 15K if you're not already at 15K.
We're at 18.6.
We're at 18.6K.
Wow, so we got to get them to 20K, folks. Wow,
20.
that's
20's the next goal.
Tonight.
20's next goal.
Yeah, we got to get
tonight.
Well-deserved work. I mean, like I said, you guys have an amazing team over at XboxEra. All the success is well worth it. Everyone, enjoy the rest of your night, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks
on
for
Double
jumping
Barrel
on, mate.
Gaming. All right,
Appreciate
guys.
it, Boom. Oh, I love Boom. And he great.
Boom's good.
He's a good
Boom
man.
is good.
Boom
Look
is
at that
good
smooth
peoples.
transition into just the you two. My God.
I know. It's
so good.
great. It's great.
Yeah. Boom used his lawnmower to trim downstairs.
Yep.
Now he's about to get a bit of boom himself.
Oh my
eh?
God.
Movie night, Boom.
Yeah, a bit of movie night boom.
Stop this now, please.
You know, one of the
Community
videos I
question.
posted in the
Uncomfortable.
Discord. One of the
I'm
videos I posted
uncomfortable.
in the Discord, I was dancing to Boom, Let's Go Back to My Room by Paul Lukakas.
Oh, I thought you were about to say Boom by
Classic.
the Out Here Brothers. And I'd be all
No.
like,
There's
What?
a song by Paul Lukakas called, I think it's called
No,
Boom,
who cares?
Let's Go Back to My
Who-
Room. Classic 80s one-hit wonder. Let's see, Paul Lukakas.
Oh my God. Next question.
It's called Boom. It's called Boom
You can't
by
stop
Paul
him. You can't
Lukakas.
stop him. He just
Mate,
Question one. Hytham G.
YouTube it. No,
Just
we
go.
were still talking. Now, Jesse, the GameCube. I just sold my GameCube last year for 600 Australian dollars, but I've still kept all the games because the Wii is a GameCube.
Yeah.
You should.
I did play
telling you.
GameCube games through the Wii. I had a Wii when I moved down here with my wife. She
Oh.
had one, but I've never
Yeah, well,
actually had a GameCube or used the controller or any of
Ah.
that.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
The GameCube was a cool little cute
Yep.
cube.
I didn't. We
Literally a
didn't. We
cube
were always
to
broke,
handle.
so we had
Okay.
a very, very limited budget on what we could and could not have.
Okay. Okay. Hey, babe. I'd like to talk to you. Such a good song. How's about going back to my room for a little boom? It's so good. Okay. Community question. Next one.
Yeah, sure.
Hi, them G. When it comes to Lina Khan dodging the question on being a defender of Sony against Microsoft on the ABK deal, do you guys think she is a Sony pony, just like the spokesman for the EU Commission who said for PlayStation? Your guys' take? P.S. Finally, my Ramadan is over for now until the next year, and so on and so forth of Ramadan the future years. Look, I wouldn't be surprised if Lina Khan has.
She's playing her AAA
PlayStation.
bangers. She's playing her AAA
I wouldn't
bangers.
be surprised if there's a PlayStation in her lounge room. Like, she probably wouldn't be ashamed to have such an ugly piece of technology displayed proudly in her lounge. Unlike my wife, who has already barred the PlayStation that my son is about to get from being on display, and we have to keep it under the stairs. So I've already got the HDMI and power cables like ready to go for when he gets it, but it's going to sit under the stairs. We have like an area under the stairs where we keep storage, and the PS5 has to go under there because she does not want that thing on display.
I can't blame anyone
see.
for wanting to hide it. I can't. Like, yeah.
Man, it's still ugly. I understand that it's the popular console and it's the number one, so it's still ugly as sin.
Yeah, it's not pretty.
Okay. Like, I just, if I could have a power, my power would be to see alternate realities. And I'd want to see the reality where Microsoft makes the Series X look like the PS5 and Sony makes the PS5 look like the Series X. To see those alternate reactions. Like, just to see all of a sudden
exactly what they would do.
All those fans are like, the Xbox is just stupid black brick. They'd be talking about how beautiful and
it's got no sense of style.
Such brutalist and minimalist design.
They'd be like
and
the
then you'd have
apes
me
2001 underneath the monolith.
Yeah.
All sharing.
And then you'd have me going, oh my God, the Series X looks like a stupid piece of shit. I'd just be still calling that thing ugly and stupid.
Yeah.
Just like the 360 had that weird concave thing.
It wasn't ugly though. I don't think the 360.
It wasn't like
ugly.
PS5 ugly. It wasn't PS5 ugly, but it was a bit silly looking. The Xbox 360 S, on the other hand, much better.
Yeah,
much better.
Fair comment.
Yeah. Okay. Skedaddle. So I was slightly confused this week by Nintendo fans hyping up getting to see Hollow Knight Silksong at the Indie World Showcase on Wednesday, only to be left disappointed. Yeah, I saw that too. Surely with Silksong coming to Game Pass day one, this would mean the most obvious place we find out more is at the Xbox Game Showcase in June. Probably makes sense. Even more confusing was reading their disappointed comments with absolutely no mention of Xbox or Game Pass. The last place we saw Silksong was at the Xbox and Bethesda Game Showcase 2022. So why do Nintendo fans keep hyping up this game every time Nintendo has something to show? Isn't it obvious Silksong coming to Game Pass day one most likely means Xbox has marketing rights for the game? Am I missing something? You're probably not scared at all. Nintendo fans can be a bit weird like that sometimes.
Yeah.
That's the simplest answer. Nintendo fans can be a bit funny like that. Because maybe it comes from a place where, because Xbox and Nintendo seem to get along and share, like, think about it. GoldenEye was also day one on Game Pass, yet it was Nintendo that showed it. And I know that's a little bit different because there's this weird quirk of Nintendo kind of owning GoldenEye to an extent. I get that.
I think we just lost
There
Nick.
is.
Oh, he's back.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we lost you. You
Why,
went Nintendo.
No, that was on you, John. He was fine for me.
Really?
Yep. Your StreamYard hitched.
Wow.
Okay.
Chat's looking at it like, what the hell is John on? Is he all sleepy? Put the sleeping cap on him. There we go.
Yeah. Don't beg me. I'm on fiber, mate. I'm on fiber internet.
Not always
So I
on
don't
your
have those
internet.
issues
Sometimes
anymore.
it's just how the hops in between work.
Okay. But yeah, I think it comes from a place of, because Nintendo and Xbox sort of have that okay seemingly relationship, maybe they don't think that Microsoft would keep something off a Nintendo show if Nintendo wanted it. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know.
And because the Switch is like the premier platform for indies, maybe that as well. They just assume that every indie would want to be at an Indie World Direct. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of reasons to explain weirdness. Okay. Jesse, brother. Hello, gentle gents. How are you doing, Boom? He's doing very
great.
well, but
He was fine. He was in a good mood.
I saw on the most recent trailer for Jedi Survivor that you can have different style lightsabers, including one with a gun. What? Was wondering if that would mean like what Ezra had in the show Rebels. I did not see that. Any ideas, gentlemen? Nick, was sure you would be reviewing Benedict Fox, but guess not. Congrats on returning to YouTube, Jess.
I started streaming on there again.
So yeah, Jedi Survivor has lots of different styles.
I didn't know
you guys look it up.
One.
I have no idea what's going on with that game.
Yes, Benedict Fox. So I would love to have reviewed Benedict Fox, but then I started reviewing Strayed Lights, and that embargo is like 2 days before.
You can't say embargo times.
Oh shit! Really? Oops.
Yep. No one care.
We'll edit that in post.
Before what? Never know. Could be before the game's been out for a week. Who knows?
Could be before anything. 2 days before I'm due to go wherever. Could be 2 days before my birthday.
Yes.
Could be any time.
Yeah. At the moment, I will be reviewing Benedict Fox
in perfect conditions that you're super happy about. Or, you know, I would call them typical conditions, because the reality is you generally get a game roughly a week before embargo.
Yeah.
The occasional 2 weeks happens. It's really nice. But sometimes
typical?
you get them 2 or 3 days before embargo. And that's kind of seems to be what might be happening to us. We'll see.
Yeah.
I sure can't wait to get the full 1,000 in Benedict Fox. Really
So
looking
subtle.
forward to that. Yeah. Okay. Not Jack.
Oh, and to answer
Matt-
his question, no, they have no idea about anything that you just asked. They
No.
don't know.
I didn't know there
Just-
was a gun lightsaber. The hell is that?
I think they called it
Isn't that
Jesus
just a
Christ.
gun?
So from the clip that I saw, you have a lightsaber in one hand and you've got a blaster in the other, and I think they called it blaster stance or something like that. I'm not sure. It was in the video. So yeah, so you've got a stance.
He says
and one of
different
them you got a
style of
gun.
lightsaber. He makes it sound like the lightsaber doubles as a gun.
Oh no,
I'm like, wouldn't that just be a
probably
gun?
the customizing like they had in the first game. They probably have that again. I think they've probably shown that.
All right, not Jack. Matt Piscatella recently said that MPDs shouldn't be used to determine how well a game performed. Do you feel that MPDs are overrated as video game business models change? P.S. Are you feeling like Jeff Grubb is trying to steal your title of fakest insider? Well, MPD just represents the US, doesn't it?
And one specific sale thing. Like it's just one very specific. This is what they sold at as a copy. Not any microtransactions.
This is
or anything.
why people like Welfare, who posts on the install base forum, and the guys that frequent, the guys and girls and whoever that frequents the install base forum, their estimates come from all available information, and then they'll look through history, and then they give their estimates based on that. Because again, the problem is Microsoft doesn't give any numbers on everything, which makes it very, very tricky. But yeah, is Jeff Grubb trying to steal my title? I doubt it. No one will ever be faker than me.
I did see
Clee.
Piscatella not called out anyone specific, but he said something like, why, like he was calling out people that do worry about it, like worry about the how many games were sold, and then like trying to chase it without having any sources and reporting on stuff. And it was basically saying get a life. Okay.
I could do a whole episode on this stuff. There's a more nuanced conversation to be had. Like, there's a more nuanced conversation to be had. Like, I watched Ace's video. Ace did a video essentially shitting on leaks and insiders. Yep. And I watched the video, and I saw a comment in the video saying, I wonder if Grubb, Jez, or Nick watched this. And I replied to that person. I'm like, sure did. Doesn't change how I feel about it. Doesn't change what I'm going to do. Like, I understand Ace's point. I understand everyone's point that says, I hate leaks. Like, in the end, like, it's one thing to take a stand and get your brownie points and act like you hate this stuff. And that's fine. I get it. But in the end, if game companies were more transparent, there'd be nothing to leak. Now, what I've always said is the reason companies aren't transparent is because of us, because of gamers and how shitty we can be. And, oh my God, look at the graphics. The fruit doesn't even move when you shoot it. And, oh my God, this game looks like crap. And, oh my God, that's why game companies aren't transparent. So there's a delicate balancing act there that's had. And in the end, I'll say it to Acer, I've said it on this show. If the people that give me info don't give it to me, they're going to give it to someone else anyway. Like, you can't stop it. Like, and the reasons vary from person to person. Some of them leak stuff because they're pissed off. Some of them leak stuff because they're about to leave the company they're working for and they want to do some damage on the way out. Some of them leak stuff because they literally enjoy the thrill of it. They just enjoy how the excitement. Oh, I'm leaking something. There's all sorts of reasons that they do it. Now, you saying, oh, well, we're no better than those people that break those NDAs and blah, 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 blah. Like, again, whether it's me, whether it's Grub, whether it's Jez, someone's going to do it. So be happy you've got a face to shit on. Be happy you've got a face that you can go, I hate this person because they leaked this stuff.
There's a difference between
or get over yourself.
Signing an NDA and then deliberately leaking it, or
knowing that's not my fault.
No. Let me finish the sentence, man. There's an end to the sentence. There's a difference between signing an NDA
he's muted.
Deliberately leaking it versus hearing something on the grapevine. Now, if it's hearing something on the grapevine that everybody knows about, so there's like three things. So there's like doing a secret beta on a thing and you've signed all your NDAs and it's leaked and it's interesting. That's one thing. Then here's some preceded news that everybody in the industry gets, much like a review embargo, and we all post it at the same time. But one person's like, I didn't sign it, and they post it before everybody else. It's to the detriment of everybody else who is playing ball. And I like from a well, that's not their fault. They can do what they like. They didn't sign anything, but I get the contentious part of it. So I think that there's different. Like Tom Henderson's been brought up, right? Where he's just like, I don't give a shit. Right? I don't give a shit if you've signed an NDA and you've agreed to only post it at 2 p.m. I haven't. And the problem that Tom's fighting against is he's fighting against a very niche media. This is hard to make money off of. And by doing what he's doing, he's taking food off their table. That's the gist. That's where you see a lot of the anger come from leaks. I think leaks about this video game's in development, that's what we've heard. That's different to...
But these same sites report on these leaks and make their money reporting on these leaks. Of
course they do. Because
so we also generate money for them.
To a degree, yeah. Yeah.
So...
It's a chicken and an egg, isn't it? They are very grumpy when something they were about to have an exclusive on gets leaked.
And I understand that. I completely understand that. Yeah. It's happened to me a couple of times where I was going to have a rumor mill and then it got out there before I had the rumor mill.
It happened to us when we did a Battlefield 2042 preview event and then somebody set AM instead of PM. And so their thing went up 12 full hours before anyone else's did.
Yeah, so there was no point in...
Yeah, we got like 300 views.
Like, it's... Like, there's not much you could do about it, and that's okay. You don't have to like it. Where I would have, depending on what he had said, where I would have said to Asa, go and cram it, is when someone leaks, like, I don't know, when someone leaks what's going to be at a show, a showcase, or an Xbox event, or whatever. It's like, don't be upset because ads were spoiled for you. They are ads. Don't be upset because the ads got spoiled. Like, that's the only part where people need to get over it. But even then, like some people, the way everyone does it is different. You know, like with the Game Awards, that the Banishers, that game I leaked. I did it in a much more subtle way. Not everyone was trying to guess what my emojis were. Because that's, at the time I was told, don't just flat out say it. So I was like, okay. Everyone does it very, very differently. And you have to remember, guys like Grubb and Henderson and Jez, it's their living. So they're going to go harder. They're going to go more in depth. They're going to do more sourcing. They're going to do more research. Me, this isn't my full-time job. I've shown you all how I do this. I get my DMs from a handful of people that I trust, and they tell me what to say, what to do, and I do it. They're the ventriloquist. I'm just the dummy. It's for me, it's that simple.
Yeah, fair enough.
I get it. I understand both sides of the argument, basically. I get both sides. But for those wondering, I didn't get upset at Asa, even though he was kind of taking a dump on all of us. Okay.
You're into
Bat
this.
out of Hades. What?
You're into him taking a dump on you.
Yeah. I'm really into it. Bat out of Hades. Esteemed panel. Many of us are tired of acquisition season and acquisition drama. Let's have a little fun and pretend it's disposition season. If we're in the timeline where you get to choose which game studio Microsoft divests, which would it be and why? And let's not use the parents love all their children equally line. We know that's bunk. Cheers, Bat out of Hades. Any studio? Can it be any studio? Even the ones they built themselves?
Yeah, I think so. There's only one answer, really, isn't it?
Yeah. It's 343. Or of the ones they acquired, Compulsion.
I don't like this question. It's a mean question.
It is a mean question. It's
we're answering a question that was asked.
I know. Bad question.
If I had to divest Microsoft Studio, man, they all do their own like little unique things. What's a game that I've not really enjoyed?
Look, I've based Mojang.
I mean, that's the worst question. That's the worst answer imaginary because they make the most money.
I know they do, but they don't.
Minecraft, your children love Minecraft.
They do, but Minecraft would still continue.
It's grown exclusive on so PS5. Beautifully under Xbox's leadership.
No, that's a
divestiture would be what's the one that would deserve it the most, and none of them do. They essentially went about as far as you can by replacing the leadership of 343.
Yeah.
Well, I would pick 343 because of what's happened to Halo, or I would pick Compulsion because they haven't, to this point, they have put out two very okay games, and that's okay is being conservative, and haven't even announced what their next thing is. Like, it's like they're not. I know they're not doing anything, but it's like they're not doing anything. They haven't even announced the game.
Yeah, but Xbox knows that. If you were in the position to be in control, you would know. So I think that's also a hard thing with this question.
I'm just trying to answer the question as best I can with as much context as possible. They're the two I'm picking, but just because of what they've done to Halo, probably 343. Okay. Abe. But not our Abe.
A new guy.
Another Abe. Yeah. Hello all. My question's for Nick. Awesome. You keep saying that you don't care about ABK and you would rather Microsoft acquire Sega instead. Yet almost every week you're playing the same games, Rocket League and Fortnite. So my question is...
He's got you there.
Besides Sonic, what other IP does Sega own and why would you want them to be acquired? Keep up the great work. I enjoy listening to the podcast every week. Well, I kind of answered this with Boom earlier. I said, I wanted Sega acquired because of the potential of bringing back all those IPs. Microsoft would have a mascot that rivals Mario. They, like I said, all those possibilities. A Dreamcast section on the store. More backwards compatibility stuff because less licensing issues. Just And again, it's a part. There's that part of me that grew up as a Sega kid that then transitioned to Xbox because Xbox felt like the natural successor to Sega, where it would be a nice, I keep saying this, but a nice full circle moment where Sega ends up under Microsoft. It's all of those things combined. That's why. I'm still a Sega kid at heart.
And you love Yakuza and Persona.
Because that's how but that's why I don't talk about the new stuff. I say the potential of the old stuff. I don't talk about the new stuff.
Well, you want the Jet Set Radio games as a service.
Even Sonic's not good anymore. Except good. Sonic Mania. Except Sonic Mania. No, I'm sorry. Hot take. Old Sonic, much better than old Mario. Those 16-bit Sonic games take a massive dump on the old Mario games. New Mario, obviously infinitely better than new
So
Sonic.
You're going to piss off 99% of the world who like adore the Super Mario Super Nintendo games, like Super
Those
Mario
old,
World.
It's a lot of rose-colored glasses with those old Mario. I'm not saying they're bad. I didn't say they're bad games. I said the Sonic 16-bit games
Grub
are far
and
better.
Minotti are on their way to your house right now to kill you.
I reckon Minotti might be with me. Deep down, Minotti likes those old Sonic games. Those Sonic Mega Drive games are better than any of the NES or SNES Mario games. Much better. They just are.
Even Spinball?
I'm talking about the mainline Sonic games.
You said
Sonic
16-bit?
1, 2, 3, Knuckles, Super Mario.
Knuckles Chaotix.
1. Chaotix isn't that bad. Chaotix is all right.
The chat. That's the worst take I've ever seen. Welcome to Special Nick, ladies and gentlemen.
Whatever, man. Those old Sonic games are incredible. And the music. Sega just took Nintendo to school on music. Like, there's nothing that rivals Sonic's music or Streets of Rage. Nothing. Nintendo is like the one-man band with the accordion going quack, 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 in comparison to what Sega were doing back then. Come on.
I have a take. The Mario game I remember the most from back then is Mario Paint. That's the one that if I think of Mario in that system, for some reason, that one pops in my head. I played them all, enjoyed them, but Mario Paint is the one that stuck with me.
Yeah, those old Mario games. They're classic. Don't get me wrong. I'm not calling them bad games. Not for a second.
You can't talk your way out of this. They are going to kill you.
Yeah, bullshit. The Sonic games are better.
There's a Mario-shaped nuke coming for your house right now.
Nah, the Sonic game's so much better. Like that Chemical Plant Zone music. Oh my god. Oh man. Stuff is amazing. Cap Coog, who I think might also be a new patron. Very recent.
Did you miss Kraken?
Oh, did I? Oh, I did. Kraken 56, sorry. Kraken 56. I had scrolled down by accident.
So you can't go to bed, John. We got to keep doing more.
Okay. Hey, guys. With the showcase being less than 2 months away, do you think Xbox will have major third-party reveals this year? 2018 and 2019, E3 had huge third-party games like Cyberpunk and Elden Ring. After COVID, not as many big third parties have shown off at Xbox shows. I think it would add a lot, especially because Xbox should have some big first-party games to show that aren't Halo, Gears, and Forza off until unlike 2018 and 2019 E3, when their acquisitions just happened. Obviously, they acquired two of the biggest publishers, but do you think they will get any other huge third-party reveals? I doubt ABK will be fully acquired by the show, and Bethesda might have nothing ready, not excluding the Starfield Direct. Thanks for the answers. Love the show. Have a good weekend. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I had heard that Sony's got Mortal Kombat 12 at their showcase. I don't know what else there is big third party. Like, because Sony's still, I think that marketing contract is still in place for COD. But I doubt Sony wants to have COD at their show now. I don't know. I'm not too sure. What big third party is there this year?
That's the thing. Like, they could have, if the acquisition hasn't closed, they could have Blizzard's survival game. Now, if it has closed, it's no longer third party. But if it hasn't closed. It is third party. That's the only. But then there's always surprises. That's like HiFi Rush was a surprise, even though it kind of wasn't. We knew that the copyright of the name existed in some. The trademark was there, but no one knew what it was. So there's always that opportunity.
There's another From game coming. Armored Core 6.
Yeah, but wasn't Armored Core a PlayStation game?
No, but I didn't.
I'd be surprised if Sony didn't have the
exclusive,
marketing for that. I'd be surprised if Sony didn't have the marketing for Armored Core.
I think we're still going to see the impact of COVID. I think a lot of game companies are struggling. I wonder where we're going to see
Assassin's Creed.
I think Moon's new game will be revealed this season, this E3 season. I think
You reckon at Xbox though?
That's the question, right? Will it be on
I don't
Xbox?
know that one. I have a funny feeling it won't be revealed at Xbox, but I could be wrong.
Who knows? I don't know.
Maybe Assassin's Creed? Maybe.
Ubisoft are they having a show?
But I'm saying at the Xbox show.
Yeah.
Could they reveal an Assassin's Creed there? They've done it before, haven't they?
Well, they've already given out all the code names. The only one we know fully is Mirage.
Avatar, yeah. Good one. Amit Kumar said Avatar. Oh, yeah,
I think Sony
Avatar
has
game.
marketing on Avatar.
I thought
Flicker
Microsoft
M44, Alan Wake 2, that's going to be with Sony.
Oh,
that will be with Sony.
Yeah, Sony will go for that one.
Man,
Alan Wake 2. Would I love to mention Alan Wake 2? Yeah. Hearing good things about Alan Wake 2. Hearing good things. Okay. Capcook.
Avatar Frontiers of Pandora is... I keep seeing PlayStation stuff on it whenever I look up the marketing for it. Okay. So the Avatar game appears to be with Sony.
Fair enough. Capcook. Hello, gentlemen. He's got here it looks like a quote thing. How are sales of PSVR 2? Oh, boys, the doom and gloom about Xbox this week is laughable. It's true. Everyone just kind of glossed over pretty quickly.
Well, they also glossed over, and we didn't talk about it because we're not a PlayStation podcast, but they also glossed over the fact that Sony upped their prices on PC games in multiple markets.
Doubled them in some places.
People hand wave it away. I'm like, that seems really... You're doing more than...
And this is the stuff that fuels the conspiracy theories. This
is
the
narrative
fuels,
of media bias.
Right. This is the sort of stuff that fuels the conspiracy theories that people have about, the media is biased against Xbox and towards Sony. That's why. Because why didn't Kotaku... I mean, maybe they have. I don't know. I haven't seen it if they have. Why didn't everyone and their dog write articles about how Sony doubled the price of their games in some countries? Like, why wasn't there more uproar about that?
And as Brett said, the 32 games leaving PlayStation Plus in 1 month.
Like 32 games in one sitting.
Including Spider-Man, a first-party game.
Can you imagine if Microsoft just up and doubled the price of their games anywhere? Can you imagine? Like... That's why people think there's an issue, and that's where the tinfoil hats come out. And I think it can be kind of justified. Like, why don't they? Like I said, I will forever hold those two articles next to each other. Forever. Xbox One is the dirty pirate machine. The PS4 is getting MKV support. It will forever be the gold standard of what we're talking about. Xbox bad, PlayStation good. Microsoft should just be bad. Be real bad. Use your money. Maybe I forgot how business works, but I didn't realize that after buying 4 or 5 indie studios 2018, 2019, then making a $7.5 billion buyout of ZeniMax in 2021, followed by a $69 billion buyout of ABK, meant Xbox Microsoft was packing it in and is doomed. That's right. Absolutely hilarious this week. The clickbait is just too good. I know Jeff Grubbs is your boy and a sweet man he is. But, man, he let off a casual, I heard, Jeff needs a rumor mill button, about HiFi Rush sales. That's why we have the rumor mill. Like, we explicitly tell people it's a rumor.
That's people what we're hearing on the grapevine.
Like announcing it on behalf of the company. About HiFi Rush sales being disappointing and was taken to task on it as he should be. Look, Jeff should always be held to a higher standard because he has gotten some things correct and holds way more sway than my average Joe ass. So, anytime someone in the industry says, I heard, hit the rumor mill button in your own heads because the source could be a person from a PR firm who gives out pre-release game codes and handles contract marketing. And maybe they said something casually offhand because they didn't get a marketing contract for HiFi Rush because it was shadow dropped and they never want another game to shadow drop. Just maybe. Never forget in this industry, everyone's got their hand out and wants that Microsoft bag, Square Enix. Speaking of money, did you know you can pay for a year of the XboxEra Patreon and save 10%? As I just did. Well, now you do. So sign up for a year, you bums. Love the show.
We're
Cheers.
really bad at promoting ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's too late. John's so tired. He's just like,
just like the company.
I've been up
just
since
like the
5
company
a.m.,
in
so
our name.
I am just like zombie. Sorry.
Just like the company in our name. We're bad at marketing.
Yeah, we're Microsoft's marketing team.
They got a huge TikTok. I wish we could get that.
Cap Coog has a very good point. It's what I was alluding to earlier. You don't know who these sources are and what their position within the company and what their agendas are and what they're like. You just don't know. Like, to protect himself, my Microsoft source, I don't know his name. To protect himself, because if I don't know his name, then there's no way for him to be found out through me, because I don't know his name. But I don't know his role within Microsoft. I have a vague idea, but I don't know much else about him. And he could have an agenda. He could have, I don't know, and Jeff Sky could be the same. We don't know. Jeff may, now again, I don't know. I've never asked Jeff, but Jeff Sky could be in the mailroom for all we know. Like, he could be anyone. He could be someone in a position where he feels slighted because his team got to work on HiFi Rush's marketing and he didn't. So he feels slighted by that. So he said to Jeff, HiFi Rush didn't even do well. Like, you don't know. Like, as I keep saying, these are just regular people like us. And just like regular people have agendas and regular people have biases and regular people, you just don't know. Like, that's why this stuff is tricky and why people should take it for what it is. Rumors,
when it
grain
was
of salt.
A back and forth talk between him and Mike, and it gets thrown in there with no context, with very little other stuff given, but then people just add the context they want to push their narrative.
Yeah.
It happens every time.
Yeah.
That's
right.
why we went out of our way to call it a rumor mill. It's the rumor mill.
And then you would start doing conjecture and people would add it into the rumor and it would
like when I said, could Neon White be the, I was saying maybe Neon White could be the December Game Pass game, and then
Sheep Show Nick confirms.
They were very shifty on that one to confirm that Neon White was coming, but then we're like, but not in December, even though I never said December.
And then people said, "Oh, you're very wrong because they said it's not December." And it's like, well, I never actually said, you never said it was. Yeah. So again, it's just people ignoring fact or not looking into fact and just taking a story the way they want to push the narrative they're interested in.
But don't forget, with myself, Jeff, and Jez, the three of us specifically, there's a lot of bitch eating crackers about it. There's a lot of bitch eating crackers. You know that meme? Where, do you want to bring up that meme, Jesse, so everyone can have a laugh?
I think John wants to go to bed, but I could.
Don't worry about John.
Yeah, I'm good. I'll be all right.
Bring it up so everyone can laugh. Like, there's a funny meme. There's a funny meme, right? And it says, once you hate someone, everything they do is offensive. And then in chorus, it's got, look at this bitch eating those crackers like she owns a place. It's so funny. But that's what it is with me, Jez, and Jeff. There's an element of that to it. With Reddit, with Reset, there's an element of that meme to it with the three of us. In a year where Persona came to Xbox, the Doomslayer came to Fortnite, the Crew Motorfest, Battlefield 2042's first season, in a year where so many of my leaks happened, there was people on Reddit were like, has he ever been right? Like, ever? And it's just like, okay,
No.
you can't be that obtuse and that dense. But anyway. Okay, next question. Good old Collingwood. Eid Mubarak. Did I say that right?
Eid Mubarak. Mubarak.
Eid Mubarak. Eid Mubarak. Eid Mubarak. John, Nick, and Jesse, and welcome, Mr. BoomstickXL. This was going to be a long question, but I can see a lot of questions in this episode, so I'll make it short. This is a video game podcast, but do you game outside of PC or console? Do you play board games like Monopoly, Risk, Settlers of Catan? Do you roleplay, such as Dungeons & Dragons? Or roleplay other things. Or do you play poker, blackjack, or other card games? Good old Collingwood. P.S. Nick, are you going to the G on Tuesday? Man, I can't believe I missed tickets to Anzac Day. I'm so devastated. And it's 25 degrees and sunny on Tuesday. I am absolutely devastated that I didn't get tickets because Ticketek's website eats shit. PPS, Mr. Boom, do you like Friends? Oh, we didn't ask him that. Have we asked him?
We asked him on the
past,
original episode.
I think we did. And I think he does.
Yeah.
I used to play Monopoly as a kid. I still kind of play Uno every now and again with my kids. I used to play this Greek card game called Xidi with my grandparents. But now it's outside of the odd game with my kids of something else, like monkeys where you pull the things out of the tower monkey thing. Outside of stuff like that, I'm just console and phone.
So I play a fair number of board games, but it's always, when people are down. Big fan of Monopoly Deal with 4 people. It's a really good laugh. It's short.
Monopoly Deal.
It's a card game version of Monopoly.
Interesting.
Where the objective is you've got to collect 3 sets of properties, but you can just totally there's all sorts of really dick moves. Like someone could have a complete set and you could play a deal breaker card and just take it, and then they could have a nope. So it's got a bit of a kind of craziness to it. It was really good fun. I played one from the Exploding Kittens teams last night, and I actually can't remember the word, but it was specifically for 2 players, which I really liked. It was a secret word game where you take 7 consonants and 4 vowels, come up with your secret word, and then you've got a series of cards you can play to try and figure out the other person's word and beat them, stuff like that. But yeah, that Risk. There was another game I played. I also can't remember the name of it. I played it at a LAN earlier this year where it was just complete carnage, like doing stuff like if someone yawns, you get to take their cards from them. Or you could just
that sounds like bamboozled.
It's a little bit. It did remind me of the Friends episode. There was one you get these cards. Oh, it's driving me nuts. I can't remember the name of it, but you get these cards that are you can play them as, I think they're called risk cards, and you put them out. But you once they're out, you can play them at any time. So there was one point we were just playing, and I was like, "Holy fucking shit, what's that?" And everyone turned, and I was like, "Oh, I get a card from everyone," because you all looked at my distraction, and it's just silliness like that.
God.
And it just
that is bamboozled.
It was
literally. It sounds
like
it was
bamboozled. Really good. It was really, really good. So yeah, love board games. Okay. They're really good fun with friends.
Yeah. Friends. What?
We did the other 2 questions. Mort and Topp.
No, we didn't do Dio games.
Oh, Dio game put one up? I don't have it.
Yeah. Dio game.
Sorry, you don't get to be on screen, Dio game.
Dio game has a question. Hi all. I am currently in Salem, Massachusetts.
A witch.
Hanging out. What?
That's where there was a lot of witch trials there.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Witches of Salem. Hanging out with the witches and vampires, and it's running at an intangibly high frame rate. My question is, why are the lazy devs at Arcane unable to surpass 30 FPS on the world's most powerful console when I can see the real Redfall without a console at a much higher frame rate? In all seriousness, my question this week is this. Is there a coordinated SEO dog poll on Xbox? Seriously, Grub says one thing that could be perceived as slightly negative and the media goes apeshit. Greenie has to push back and Tango has to address things. From 48 seconds of stream of consciousness on a podcast, you don't see this with PlayStation. I reckon we covered this rather extensively over the episode. Yeah, I didn't think of the SEO thing. Yeah, that probably plays a role too.
Oh, yeah.
In the whole thing.
Definitely.
And there's now a super chat just now, also kind of on this topic from Jason. $15 super chat. Is it not in the realm of possibility that both can be correct? That being the Xbox division was happy with the success and Jeff Source was brought at MS who weren't thrilled at the metrics? Well, again, that's something I kind of said earlier. Like,
you don't know who's...
You don't know. Like, it could be that in terms that they did want a certain amount of revenue generated by the game, and it may not have generated that revenue. At the same time, that doesn't mean it wasn't successful. Like, it can, like you said, be both things. And that's what I was saying earlier. Without knowing wider context, and that's why Jeff has now learned, most likely, to just be a slightly more wary. Because again, like, we do this. Jeff I watch Last of the Nintendogs, and sometimes I can catch game mess. I see how they do it. It's similar to us. They just chat. And what happens is when you just chat, and sometimes you drop your guard a little bit, and you say stuff. I've done it. I did it and screwed up with the Gears collection. It happens every now and again. So I assume Jeff will probably be more wary in the future. But what do you do? Like I said, Xbox is forever the bad guy. It's always going to be the case. They're always going to be the bad guy. Like, there's not going to be a time where they won't be. Even if they buy ABK, massively successful, they end up the market leader thanks to COD going on Game Pass, and eventually they lock it down and blah, 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 blah. They're still going to be the bad guy. They just are. That's their bag. That's their role in life, to be the bad guy. That's it. And I feel they should lean into it.
There was a very poignant end there to that question.
Yep.
Be the bad guy, Microsoft.
Be the bad guy.
That is the end of the questions and the end of the show. So housekeeping. If you haven't smashed that like button, please do so. As mentioned earlier on in the show, there is likely to be an insane deluge of video game news and reviews this week.
Oh, God. And by the way, we probably have Jez on next week.
Yeah, I know.
He was going to be on today. I don't know, because there's no Xbox 2 this week.
Yeah,
which is fair enough.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, could have reached. Jez reached out to me, surprisingly. I was going to reach out to him, but I'm like, no, we got Boom on. And then Jez is like, hey. I was like, you know what? I don't think Boom will care if all four of us are on. And then Jez is like, no, don't worry about it. We'll do it next week. And I was like, dude, aren't you going to complain about it being too late for you again? He's like, no, it'll be fine. So I think Jez is on next week.
Cool.
I think.
There you go. We'll have Jez there next week. So we've got news and reviews coming out the wazoo this week on XboxEra.com. Feel free to check that out. As always, if you love, enjoy, and support what we do, you can do so on Patreon. You can also do so by becoming a YouTube member. If you want to represent XboxEra in your life, we have a merch store. There's loads of cool designs up there for reasonable prices, dare I say.
Like this.
Like that wonderful Friends motif shirt.
In the Coffee with Cabeza mug, which is back on YouTube.
Yep, Coffee with Cabeza, the Twitch stream of Jesse's daily grind through whatever he's playing at the time, or if he's allowed to talk about it. If not, it's what he fancies. It's back on YouTube now. God, we're just busy bees, aren't we?
Yep.
Oh, there's the mug. Except you're not on camera.
Yeah. Woo! It's a nice mug.
It is a nice mug. Everything's great.
I want the What's Going On t-shirt.
I bought one.
Did you? I bought this.
I just bought it for myself. What's going on?
Going on.
But we love you guys.
For now.
Yeah, definitely ciao for now.
So yeah, we'll see
I
you
sleep.
all next week, most likely with Jez.
Hooray.
Ciao for now.
Zero Podcast is powered by you. And if you want to support us, you can do so via Patreon. Just head to patreon.com/XboxEra. And as a thank you for your support, you get cool stuff and we get to keep doing what we do. Now let's get into it.